Live from Mortgage One Studios, Russ Clark. And of course, it's Tuesday morning and Dean's with me.
I'm glad to be here too. It's always fun.
Good, it is. We always learn something.
Well, yes. I mean, I think we have different areas of expertise, and so we teach each other.
Yeah, bumping around until we figure it out. Let me see. All content presented by the Russ Clark Show, including statements made by guests, commentators, and callers, reflects the personal opinion of those individuals, and it's provided for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views do not represent the official position of Mortgage One Studios, its owners, employees, affiliates, or partners. Mortgage One Studios does not endorse, verify, or guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements made by third parties during programming. I got a call the other day from a bill collector.
Okay,
that's not a good thing. I'm like, I have a bill. I don't know. So I automatically assume it's a scam.
Well, that's what I was thinking right off.
Yeah, and it was Citibank.
So, well, yeah,
it still could be a scam. It could be somebody claiming.
Oh, definitely. Oh. I mean, I was thinking that didn't deter me from the scam idea at all.
No, it may make it a better scam, maybe.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I don't think I have a bill, and explained that I have a credit card, Advantage credit card, airline credit card that was being, I guess, taken care of by a company called Barclays. Barclays was the financial company taking care of it, and Barclays sold it to Citibank. So they sent me a new card, and see, I knew I was using that card for something very small, like a routine payment, and I just paid in full. I never saw the bills. I never touched it. It would just come through.
Okay.
And but when Citibank bought it, then that automatic payment was canceled. So nobody was paying that little routine thing. And the address I had on that was something I don't have any access to anymore. So I wasn't getting anything.
Getting the bill.
Now they had my phone number, but they didn't call me.
Yeah.
Well, if they did, I didn't take it, maybe. But finally, they called me and got a hold of them. And I said, well, I'm not paying anything over the phone.
Yeah.
So why don't you just send it to my new address? Here's my new address, and send me a bill, and I'll take care of it. So they did that. They sent it to me, and it had accumulated a few $100s, which usually is not that much, but and then interest of 30% and penalties.
Wow.
I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Just for a few months. I mean, it wasn't.
Well, my experience is if you get a hold of somebody and say, well, here's what's going on, they'll often credit you with a lot of stuff and remove some of those.
And I'm going to do that. Yeah. But yesterday I called them because I went online to set it up. So I was setting it up with the paper that they gave me. They sent me a bill that shows everything. And I said, wow, okay, I know what it is now. But I want to see the two bills beforehand. It was like 3 months. It was 3 months or something included. So I got online to set it up, and I needed to put in my credit card number, but I don't have it. So I called the number.
Yeah.
And I said, look, I'm trying to set up an online account. I need my credit card number.
Oh boy, they're going to be very sticky.
They didn't do that. In fact, the people, they said, well, I can give you to customer service, but we're just the collection side. The number was just the collection side. And I explained, like, look, I don't want to pay anything over the phone, but I called you. And what I really want to do is set it up. And they said they're mailing me a credit card.
Okay.
When I did that, and I have not received it yet.
Sure.
So I can't set it up. I can't pay it. But I don't want this thing laying out there, paid. So I think I paid $85 on air, just set it up, and said, please set up the minimum payment no matter what, for every month and all that stuff. So I'm all taken care of, but I'll settle those late fees and all those other stuff.
Yeah,
later. I'll get a hold of customer service once I get the card in hand and I get the account set up and I do all that. But it was a collection call. It really was a collection call.
Yeah. Well, I
didn't know I owed any money.
I had a different experience, but it's sort of similar in that suddenly I was turned down for purchasing something online because it said the card wasn't any good.
Yeah.
And I'm, what? And it turned out that I had an automatic payment that I thought was being taken care of by a different account.
Oh.
And the account had run out of money. And it was one of these things where normally I deposit money in the account from checks that I get, but I hadn't gotten a check for a bit, and for my writing. And anyway, I took it all care of it, and I called them up, and they canceled all the, late fees and stuff like that. And
yeah.
But it was my own fault. I just had misunderstood how the payments were being made.
I don't pay. Everything's so automated on mine. I mean, I have everything set up to be automatically paid to get done. I don't have that much. But what I do is I just check the bills later. I don't ever have to cut a check. I don't even own a checkbook.
My experience with automatic payments is that it sometimes is very hard to stop them. And
I've never had that problem.
So I try to. I basically make the automatic payment is directly from a particular checking account.
Right.
And then for, so it's kind of limited.
But you can just tell the bank not to pay it anymore.
Yeah, right.
That's
much easier than trying to stop a credit card payment.
Right.
Yeah. I think the bank accounts are the way to go if you're going to use automatic payment.
Yeah. Well, I got the first step done. I'm waiting on the card so I get it all done. But I didn't keep my addresses up. I guess I needed to have a better system.
Sure. That's
like when I should keep my address up. And now that I'm married and I'm living in Helen's house.
Right.
I haven't changed everything to that either.
I
need to sit down and figure it all out. I mean, Medicare and everything still goes to my daughter's old house.
Yeah. Well, let's see. You probably haven't had to get a new driver's license or.
Well, I do, and it's my current license. My current license, my current address. I went. And
you
that.
did.
I did that.
Oh, okay. Because I had to do that recently too.
Yeah.
And they needed proof of. They wanted me to bring like a utility payment.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah.
They must have trusted me more. I don't remember. Well, I'll tell you. No, I didn't take anything. I mean,
Well, I got the new, and I almost, I'm old enough. I decided it doesn't matter. I got the real ID, which requires a little higher level of proof.
Yeah. Which is a passport will do it.
Yeah, basically. It's almost an internal passport. We used to make fun of the Russians for having internal passports, and now we got something very close.
Yeah. You can go to Mexico with it.
Really?
Mexico will accept it. That is a real ID or whatever.
And I thought about not doing it because you can use your passport, and I have a passport, and I like to keep the passport up. So, but
in fact, I have the little passport.
Yeah, the card.
Yeah.
That's good for the Americas, basically, as long as you don't go by air.
Right.
Unless you're doing a private plane, maybe that would.
But I don't want to carry my passport around and lose it.
It's a concern, definitely.
Yeah.
I haven't lost one yet, but
I never have, but I don't want to have to go to find one. In fact,
I got the real ID because I wanted the convenience and
because you're real.
Yeah. I really don't like the new digital world where you don't have any privacy anymore.
Yeah.
But it's reality.
Get over it.
It's where we are. And I, for one, welcome our new digital overlords.
No, you don't.
Well,
you're just saying that.
I just say that
so they don't storm the place.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's on record.
Good for you.
And it's real. I mean, I don't consider Elon Musk to be one of the digital overlords. No. I'm not so sure about the others.
But he could be.
Well, he's in the category. And if you get to a certain level of wealth,
he could probably hack your phone while he's sitting here.
Well, what I'm saying is they are above the ordinary. They don't.
They have access to things we don't even know exist.
Well, and they can have privacy because they can buy it. They don't have to. If their car is stopped, it's not tracked to them.
True.
They have it in like maybe a Nevada corporation or something that owns the car and has it registered there. And somebody else is driving it other than them. So they don't have to produce a driver's license and get tracked.
It's worse than that. In fact,
worse or better.
I've talked to Edward about that a little bit, and he's his cars are owned by the business, but it's owned by an LLC that owns an LLC.
Well,
that owns
sure.
an LLC that owns an LLC, and it would take.
Well, and I mentioned the Nevada Corporation, because the way it used to be, this was a few years ago when I was exploring the possibilities. A Nevada Corporation is not digitally recorded. At least it didn't used to be. You have to actually go to a courthouse in Nevada to track down the records. And that's a pretty big barrier.
Is it?
In today's world.
Now,
if you want it hard enough, sure, you can pay somebody, go to the courthouse, look these things up for me. But, it's kind of like, what level of inconvenience and expense do you want to do for something like that? If you stand up, maybe somebody will go to that trouble, but most of the time they won't. So, yes, there are ways with enough money and effort, you can get to a level of privacy. But on the other hand, people who have that much money usually have enough lawyers. They don't have to worry about the privacy as much. Personally, I think privacy is a very precious thing, but in today's society, there isn't much of it. I mean,
no.
if you have a phone, all of your movements are tracked. I personally believe that most phone conversations are recorded. I don't think they're monitored by a human, just can't. There's too many of them. But they're probably kept somewhere so that if somebody wants to, somebody thinks you're important enough or interesting enough to go over your conversations. And today with AI and translation and everything, even speaking in different languages doesn't make much difference. The translation services in AI are good enough now that probably a machine can look at can listen to your conversations and make a pretty good text copy of what you said.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've been seeing advertisements for a device now that you just carry with you. It's relatively small, but let's say the size of a pack of cards, but maybe only about 1/10 as thick. And you just press a button and it records. And then it makes a textual summation of everything it heard. So you have notes that you can read. You don't have to listen through a whole conversation.
I don't think that's even high tech anymore. That's just normal.
Well,
I think my phone does that.
I don't know. I haven't seen it on a phone. This is meant to work with a phone, by the way.
Okay.
It has a little magnet on one side. You clip it to the back of your phone. It's got a contact microphone, so it can get both sides of your phone conversation without putting it on speaker, and no app.
Okay.
Which I find a very useful thing. I may end up getting one. I'll have to.
I'm mad at my phone right now.
Oh, okay.
It changed on me.
Yeah, I don't like that about phones.
Because I wear a headset, and when I want to call somebody, I'll just say, "Hey Google, call Chris Moorhead," and calls the office while I'm driving. I don't have to touch anything.
Sure, right.
Doesn't do that anymore because now it's picking up a different AI. And the other, my phone's now saying just a second because it heard me. But see what it does? It's got. Oh, is it calling? It called. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Yeah, now you'll get a call back. Hey, you're trying to get me? Were you cut off?
I didn't know my phone was listening.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well, it stopped doing it, but obviously it just did it now.
Yes, it did.
It started using like Gemini instead of the normal Samsung for some reason. And so I haven't really gone through to figure out how to change it back to where it was because
I really dislike these, quote, automatic upgrades.
I don't know what did it. It may have been something I did.
Yeah, you could have pushed a button.
All right. George is calling me. George must be back home. Good morning, George.
Yeah. Hey, it's George.
How are you, sir?
Good. I'm back in Washington. Beautiful weather, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It's no humidity. It's just perfect. Everybody's talking about what a wonderful Sunday it was. Great party at the White House after the UFC fight.
Did you go?
No, I didn't go. I got home at yesterday morning at 7:40 in the morning, so I didn't get a chance to go.
Well, thank goodness they stopped the snipers and the drone attacks.
Yeah, well, but you guys are talking about listening off of the phone, and was it a friend of mine's girlfriend called him up and said, your phone's probably being listened to, and he goes, oh, that ship sailed a long time ago. He goes, what are you talking about? I go into the Pentagon, I go to the White House, I go to the, all these special areas, the World Bank and stuff like that. I gave up on that a long time ago. She goes, really? What do you think, that somebody's even, listening? He goes, not just listening. They look at all the pictures and everything else. And she goes, really?
So you don't keep stuff on your phone, man. Don't keep it on.
So she sends him a picture of her in Victoria's Secret outfit, and he goes, and she goes, well, let's liven up their day a little bit. Yeah, you gotta love crazy blondes,
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't keep that on my phone. That's not gonna be.
Well, you're married.
Delete that. Delete that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like. So anyway, yeah. Actually, I'm. That was the first time. Being a godfather, that I found out I was being tracked. And that was kind of a disconcerting thing for a minute, but and I said, well, it makes sense because of the fact that in case the kids need me. So anyway, yeah, it's beautiful here. It was great to see you guys all last week, and I love the new studio. This is going to be something else, and so just wanted to say, hey, everybody have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.
See you, buddy.
With some good guests.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I went down to Panama. I worked down there about 5 years in 1985. And so I just assumed that every international call I made was being listened to. And then I just kept that assumption from then on, and not just for international calls, because if you read the history, governments have a very high likelihood of listening in to calls, and the technology has just made it easier and easier and easier. And so now it's all done automatically, and the calls are recorded in huge data centers that have gotten cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. So storage capacity is so cheap now, and processing capacity is so cheap that I think it's just silly to assume that your call has any privacy. I mean, it probably can't be used against you in a court of law because they didn't get a warrant or whatever. But so what? It's still available. So there are methods to try to make your communications more private. There are encryption that you can use, and all of that is doable. It just takes considerable time and effort.
Time and effort, something we have plenty of, right?
Well, I wish I had about 2 or 3 of me, if I could clone myself, so we could all.
Well, it's coming. Maybe talk to Musk, see what he's got going on.
Yes, thought.
Maybe.
I think the first thing I'm going to get is an autonomous car, so that all the time I waste driving now.
Yeah, you don't know where you're going, but you'll know how to get there now.
I think it's going to happen within about a year or two. They already have autonomous vehicles that are acting as taxis in Austin and in Dallas, and they're supposed to be bringing them to Phoenix.
Greg Wilkinson, has the new Y. He bought the new one, and he said it's probably 80% in autopilot.
Yeah, full self-driving.
Full self-driving, about 80% of the time.
Yeah, I believe that. For one thing, your insurance policy.
I wonder why it's not 100. And if you have an accident, whose fault is it?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure it's been answered yet exactly, but I'll tell you that their insurance premiums go down. There's one insurance company in particular that while your Tesla, I should say, is on full self-driving, they cut your premium in half.
Really?
Yeah.
because it's a better driver,
it's safer, less likely to have an accident.
Look, I talk to people all the time, and Chris Moorhead's one of them. I will never get in a car that's self-driving. It's just too dangerous. I'm like, what are you kidding? You read the reports. You read the reports of car accidents. It's not with self-driving.
And I the insurance company that I have, or that I've used for 50 years, gives a discount for full self-driving cars.
Is there any place that even has that yet? Fully?
Well, I'm talking about the current Tesla.
Oh, the Tesla. Okay.
I think it's 4.1 version has full self-driving that you can drive without your hands on the wheel. You have to show that you're watching. It watches your eyes to see where they're looking. That people have used that for 10,000 miles, 99.9% of the car.
Anybody convicted of drunk driving should be given a Tesla without a steering wheel.
Well, that's a real potential. I mean, I don't know about the steering wheel necessarily.
Well, yeah, that way you can't take over. Just
right.
The car's going to take you home.
Think of what this means for people who have handicaps, who are blind, who
are terrible drivers.
Yes, or who can't legally drive.
Yeah,
well, as you're mentioning, maybe you have a DUI and you can't drive. Well, if you had an autonomous vehicle, you don't have to drive. You just say, take it. Yeah. Take me here.
And if you have a wife that's a terrible driver and drives too fast, just give it to her as a present. Don't explain why.
Well, I like that. I mean, in general, it opens up, it makes many efficiencies in the world more available. You're essentially getting, if you get one where it's fully autonomous, I don't think there's none on the market. No matter how close the full self-driving is with the Teslas, they're not yet rated to just for you not to have to pay attention.
But my understanding,
that's coming quick.
When they come out with those taxis, it's not going to have brake pedals.
The Cybercab does not have pedals or even steering wheel.
That's what you get for a drunk driver that just can't control them. Oh, these guys, they say, well, he's been arrested for drunk driving 23 times,
Well,
that guy should never be anything but that.
Well, and I think that's a great use for it.
Can you still be drunk driving if it's autonomous? I mean, you can on a horse, so I would say yes.
I would say no, because you're not operating the vehicle. So you'd have to have the autopilot would have to take an alcohol test. They can't ingest alcohol.
There's been people arrested for drunk driving on a horse, on a lawnmower.
Yeah, and and then parked in their driveway.
Oh yeah, or on a bicycle even.
I don't know if all those cases have held up.
I don't know.
I suspect many have not. But yes, and our laws have gotten so. I mean, they're on the edge of draconian for drunk driving.
Oh yeah, it does not pay off. Do not get in there.
I mean, I have had.
Don't get behind the wheel.
It's even. I mean, it's just the amount of pain and difficulty and expense is enormous.
It's mandatory. I think jail time about every state now. Like 24 hours, first offense.
Yeah, maybe. It is in Arizona, I think. May depend on the level of alcohol.
I just think if it's drunk driving, it's
gotten kind of complex, and I haven't looked at it for a while.
But then it's the insurance rates go stupid. Lawyer fees why do people hire lawyers for that?
Because maybe they work. Sometimes,
maybe. I mean, I've known people that have been arrested for drunk driving. They spend $10,000-$15,000 on legal fees, and they are still pay fines for drunk driving.
Sure, but there are people who manage, pay a lawyer a lot of money and then don't get a drunk driving conviction too.
Possibly, yeah. Imagine.
I
think that's more than a $10,000 or $15,000 lawyer. Maybe that's. Johnny Cochran.
It all depends on so many particulars. I think we've gone overboard with the drunk driving. No, it's not a popular opinion, but I think
it used to be 50,000 people a year died from drunk driving. Now it's down in the 30s.
I doubt those statistics. First off, I talked to my brother, who was a Wisconsin State Patrol, so he has significant experience, and he said there was a huge push on to check the box that said alcohol involved, whether it had any meaningful how to put it, possibility of causing the accident or not. I mean, and he said, it's inflated from the road level on up. And there's all this political pressure. It's just so politically correct to blame people who have some alcohol contact for an accident. So I am very skeptical of the numbers. I think they're highly inflated. And yes, the fatality rate has gone down enormously. And probably drunk driving, the draconian penalties for drunk driving has had something to do with it. But at the same time, we've improved our roads enormously with the
cars are safer.
The cars are much safer.
Yeah.
We just have done a good job of education as well.
And people have practiced driving drunk so that they're better at it.
Well, some people are very good who can drive extremely well with very high alcohol content.
Right.
They're and I'm not saying that it's a good thing for people to drive drunk. I'm just saying I think we've gone overboard, and I'm hoping this autonomous driving capability, which is right on the horizon. Like I said, there are already vehicles, taxi cabs that are doing it, and I think that will become available. Probably Tesla will be the first, I believe. Probably within 2 years.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about the, we mentioned it briefly. George was on, talked about the fights at the White House lawn. And I didn't know it the day of, but apparently FBI disrupted a plot to target that event with drones and snipers.
That's what I read.
Oh, wow. That's scary. I mean, they're still trying to kill him.
Yes. And my tendency is to believe that there's substance to it.
Yeah. But there's 23 people they found.
Well, ever since the Christine Whitmer supposed kidnapping attempt that was basically orchestrated by the FBI.
Right.
I'm more skeptical.
Yeah. This article says the FBI and law enforcement partners disrupted an alleged plot targeting this weekend's UFC Freedom 250 event in Washington, D.C. There's 5 people in custody as of Monday. They've identified 23 people as part of the potential network of plotters, using explosive-laden drones to hit buildings near the event, force a mass evacuation, and steer crowds towards a pre-staged sniper team.
That's it's pretty sophisticated.
Is that what you would have done?
No. First off, I of
be
course,
careful how you answer
I
that.
of course avoid all criminal activity.
There you go.
But I sometimes in order to stop criminal activity, you have to be willing to get into the mindset of a plotter or a criminal.
I would imagine that's what the FBI and all those guys do.
Well, they do.
Yep.
And some people claim that the mindset to be a criminal or a policeman is similar. Not sure I would agree with that, but I know that sometimes it seems to me the personalities have a certain commonality.
I think so. Particularly those guys go undercover and all that kind of stuff.
That's
terrible.
That's really that's a very difficult thing. I have only a little experience when I was much younger.
This attack didn't stop with that sniper thing. It said a second wave allegedly planned to storm the White House gate.
Wow.
And do they realize what they're up against?
Well,
I mean,
you see, one of the problems is,
we see some security, but what we don't see is what's scary.
The more people involved in a conspiracy, the more likely a leak. The more likely your operational security is going to be broken.
I'm saying they don't understand the amount of people probably on staff that were there, like probably a small group of guys.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, because that's fairly closely guarded.
Do you remember? Of course, it's guarded, but so they don't know. But look, when they did that thing at the Hilton, where that one man ran on a different floor, he wasn't anywhere close. They flooded that place with agents and uniformed personnel. I mean, all of a sudden, where did these National Guards come from? I mean, they were there in seconds, standing there with full combat gear.
Right.
Where the heck were they? I mean, you never see them.
Well, just thinking tactically, with an event like that or anywhere the president is, I would expect them to have sort of a rapid reaction force.
Yeah, and they're
close by.
They're in a room close by,
or maybe a couple rooms.
Yeah, they're somewhere. And these guys, they said there are 23 people involved. Like really, 23 people are going to get through this kind of thing. It's just nuts, but dangerous all at the same time. They could have hurt people for sure.
The person who ran through security,
same thing.
He was just a single guy,
right?
And he did not have any co-conspirators, and that's where you get some potential operational security, and why it almost, he had some. He didn't kill anybody, but he had some success. He got through a level of security that most people would not expect to get through, and but he did it because he was alone and he didn't tell anybody else.
And they weren't paying attention. They were breaking it down at the time. He just kind of ran through because it wasn't significant anymore.
He shot one of the
right in the chest.
Yeah, and the guy had armor on. Was it a woman or a guy? I'm trying to remember.
I do not remember.
I think it was I remember seeing the video, and I thought it might be a woman, but I wasn't quite sure.
I think it was a guy. It was the only guy that shot back. I mean, it was only
right.
He was the only one that fired the gun.
And I remember analyzing that video and looking at him and trying to find the gunshots. It's not all that easy, but sometimes you can catch a little, like a movement of the hand or a little bit of a blast signature, and that guy missed getting hit so closely. I thought he would have been hit. It was so close. The guard that was shooting back at him really barely missed. It was really
and that was after. Some of those shots were after he received a shot himself,
right?
And he's still shooting. I think he got 5 off or something like that. Was it 5?
Yeah, I think it was about that. I should remember, but
an initial review of this target for the UFC event. That one of the suspects' iPhones. So they're not very sophisticated. If they're using an iPhone to plan a hit on the president,
it is one of the more secure phones out there.
Well, yeah, but they said it identified at least 23 signal users discussing pre-operational activity.
Yeah.
So they've already got that in. But
and then when you said 23, I figured it was some type of internet or phone network.
Yeah. So some wanted to travel to Fredericksburg, Virginia on June 12th or 13th to prepare for the attack. One suspect, somebody in custody, obviously, allegedly told investigators the goal was to target capitalist elitists, billionaires. See, and I blame Elizabeth Warren for that. We got to kill the billionaires now.
Well, she has come out with this
elitist stuff,
silly diatribe against Musk.
Well, she's not the only one.
No, there's a whole bunch of people.
Tons of them. She's just one of the more ridiculous. As she's driving a limo, a chauffeur-driven car,
chauffeur-driven limo, and she's making the text about
she's going to her million dollar house. Yeah, and politicians who received donations from the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. So they're after that. It stretched the investigation covered by 12 FBI field offices. Kash Patel credited the FBI and the Department of Justice and law enforcement for acting quickly. Said thanks to the rapid action of the FBI, our partners, and the Department of Justice in a multi-state operation, multiple individuals are now in custody, and allegedly planned attacks were stopped cold. While the result represents the best of investigation network, it was also noting out of the ordinary for this law enforcement team. We are built to detect, respond to, bring to justice those who threaten the lives of American citizens, particularly during large gatherings like the historic UFC 250 fight. That's exactly what we did here. I want to thank our great agents, our partners. This work remains ongoing and will continue to update the public as permitted.
Right.
Good for them.
I think it's an example of what we were talking about, that you don't have privacy anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, and in this instance,
you can't even plan an assassination.
It was used it was used very positively. We don't need the Stasi where every third person or every fourth person in East Germany was a paid informant. We have the internet. We have digital phones.
Yeah.
We have
cameras,
artificial intelligence that can scan through all these things. We have cameras everywhere.
Yeah. So, assassinating the president just gets harder every year.
Well, it's probably a good thing.
That is a very good thing.
But it does. I think, gosh, I'm not even. I think, yes, it was probably much easier for, well, maybe the easiest would have been around John Kennedy's time when we had the last actual successful assassination.
Probably. Let's talk to Gilbert. Good morning, Gilbert.
I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren and all she has, right? There's millions and millions. But one of the biggest socialists we had that's promoting socialism, I believe he has 3 or 4 houses.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Bernie Sanders himself.
Yeah, he certainly does.
Well, with all the work that he's done to promote socialism, doesn't he deserve that?
Yeah. Cashing out.
But you see, the thing is, we allow that to happen. We're not exposing what he owns. See, that's the problem. We're not telling the people that he's trying to push his narrative. Hey, this guy owns 3 different houses in 3 different locations, and he has a stump cabin.
He's a millionaire.
It's available, but look, the people that love him don't care.
Well, I know, but the uneducated should be educated. Just like Robert De Niro the other night. I wonder if he got paid for his stupid speech. And Julia Roberts, I used to like her. Now she's a pimple in a hog's ass as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Well, I've been surprised at how far left the people in Hollywood have exposed to have been.
Yeah. They don't hold back anymore. They're all becoming Robert De Niro.
I guess. Yeah. I mean,
exactly. And then you had that Reed brought, right? Bald-headed black woman.
Yeah, Joy Reid.
Yeah. He was on that stage too.
Yeah.
And then they had a whole bunch of people singing.
Bette Midler. Yeah. Bette Midler.
Oh, yeah. I
was horrible.
Love that. But the thing is, Donald J. Trump had 85,000 people in one location. Right? I wonder how many. They never panned the cameras to see how many people were in the audience.
Yeah.
With
there was only 4,300 on the White House lawn. There was like 80,000 at the adjoining park.
Yeah, that's still a lot of people.
Yeah, isn't that great?
45. How many did you say? 45,000 on the lawn?
No, 4,300.
And then 85,000 all together.
Yeah.
And what I'm getting at, he had an event, and this was their anti-Trump event thing.
Yeah,
they're a bunch of losers.
It was sad. It was done in a small theater. It was looked like a Harkins theater somewhere.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
and they're pushing their narrative. And again, the leftist media is all inspiring. Yada yada yada.
The audience was not DEI. It was just a bunch of old white guys.
yeah.
You mean at the event where all these leftists were?
Yeah, where the leftists were.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. And then again, the celebration at the White House versus the Knicks celebration, burning down buses and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to be very impressive to me, since we have the technology to identify everyone that was swinging a chain, swinging anything and hitting that bus. I don't care what they were doing.
I like that idea.
They have to prosecute.
Yeah.
They have to prosecute and make them pay for the damages. And if they're teenagers, make the mommy and daddy pay for it.
That's what stopped the people in Washington, D.C. Trump brought in the people and said, we're prosecuting everybody. And the place cleaned up and it was happy.
A lot better. Murder rate went way down.
Yep.
Yeah. But the thing is, we have a socialist in New York. But you know what?
Yeah.
State funds, I believe that you should be able to do something because that bus is probably state funded, not federally funded. And President Trump could get involved because federal's money is involved in that bus.
Yep. Yeah,
that's just my way.
You start dragging these people off, Gilbert. You're right. It's going to change the complexion.
And one more thing, my friend Russell Clark.
What's that, man?
Water. Bring back the water cannons.
Oh, you go ahead.
Bring back the water cannon.
You go ahead.
We tried everything else, right?
I don't know.
Well, Gilbert, we have to have the political will of the people in charge to use them first. That's the hardest part.
No way I would get behind it. It's just,
hey, Russ,
what?
They're throwing rocks at our police. They're throwing
I know.
bottles filled with water at our police. They're throwing bricks at our police. They're using our own barriers against the police.
Yep.
And what better way to stop them?
I can think of a lot.
Why don't you want to use water?
I'm not saying don't. I'm saying it's the police.
It's bad. And we've gone through this many times. Bad optics. It's reminiscence of the '60s and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so what's better, Russ?
Yeah.
Should we throw bricks back at them?
Nope.
I think your idea of digital images and prosecution's the best.
Prosecution's the best.
Oh, I mean, I do too.
And I don't mind. Rubber bullets, tasers. Handcuff them at the scene, drag them off. That's great. I like that.
Another way of doing it is what the Japanese do. They shoot paintballs at these guys.
Yeah,
they're identified.
We have that, and we have them filled with tear gas. Paintballs that have tear gas on them. Yeah.
Right. But we need to get them prosecuted.
Yep, that's the key.
We've been playing patty cakes with these guys too long.
Agreed.
Too long. I don't want another Kent State.
But it's mostly these sanctuary cities, Gilbert. You don't see this in
I know
cities.
That's the best way to stop these sanctuary cities is doing what I'm saying.
Well, they're not going to do it, and we don't need to do it in other cities because what we're doing work. They don't have water cannons in DC.
I know that. But the reason we have LA in California the way it is because we didn't do what we should have done.
Correct.
You're right.
Correct.
Damn, say that again so I can record that.
Yeah, you're right.
You're absolutely right. But it's prosecute. We need to prosecute, man.
Yep. All right. God bless y'all.
See you, buddy.
Catch you in the rebound.
Take care.
Bye-bye. I'll just mention, because I track these things and it's part of what I write about all the time, we have the lowest murder rate in the United States now that we have ever had, below 4 per 100,000.
Yeah.
It's
probably in the history.
Probably at 3.9. I don't know if the official number from the FBI has come out yet for 2025. Maybe it's they've changed the way they do statistics and stuff that muddies the waters a little bit, but it looks like it's about 3.9.
We're talking about the disruption of the attack that was supposedly allegedly for the UFC fight.
Right.
Edward sent me a picture of the Butler ladies that jumped in to save President Trump, which were not Secret Service agents. I think they're Homeland Security.
There was a mixed bag there, as I recall.
Yeah, he said this was the force of Secret Service from Butler. Edison could take these folks down. Now that's his son, 11-year-old son. I think he's 11, 12. Yeah, probably true. He's taller than they were. It's so funny that these shorter ladies were supposed to shield a 6'3" president.
Well, Dan Bongino made a number of comments about that, and he predicted the attack. Didn't say it Butler, but he said it's going to happen because he's very vulnerable, and the White House or the Biden administration at the time was literally denying assets and capability to protect President Trump.
Right, and he was redirecting them to other VIPs.
Right, so it just, it's sad to say that, Bongino was correct there, and that was a deficit in the protective detail for President Trump. No question about it.
Now, I am not a fan of Hakeem Jeffries.
Okay, I'm not either.
I know the Southern Poverty Law Center will say, "Well, that's racist. You can't say that about somebody that's of color." But believe me, it's not his race, and I'm concerned about it. He's such a doubt. I mean, every day it's like he's got to take a microphone. I say I hate Trump because what's he doing now? Oh yeah, because of that. It's just so ridiculous and so predictable. He just hates everything that goes on. And he wants to be a leader. It's like he doesn't have an idea in his head. He just hates. Well, right now he was,
and he says these ridiculous things. I mean, he's not well connected with reality.
Well, he was being interviewed by Rosanna Scotto. Now, keep in mind when these leftists usually do interviews, it's usually with leftist journalists that believe that Hakeem Jeffries is,
Well, they agree with his propositions about his assumptions about reality.
Yeah, everyone white's a white nationalist and Nazi, and everybody that says they're MAGA is a Nazi and white nationalist. You know, it just gets old. It's just ridiculous. Well, he was confronted yesterday, when he was talking about skyrocketing gas prices. And, you know, gas prices are down in Yuma.
As I drove in this morning, $3.99.
There you go. Which is kind of early for what's going on, but I'm not complaining about it. And he says it was reckless war of choice that was obviously cost the American people significantly, particularly as it relates to skyrocketing gas prices in an environment where the cost of living was already too high. Yeah, thanks to Biden and all. He doesn't say that, but okay.
Right.
Well, Rosanna Scotto, she was interviewing him, and where was this? A Good Day, New York. Good Day, New York. You know, he's going to take a microphone anywhere he can to spread his hate. She reminded him that Barack Obama and Joe Biden also saw high prices during their terms. Gas prices were up under Obama too, and Biden, right? And didn't we have gas prices over $5? So Jeffrey said, well, there were gas prices in the immediate aftermath of the pandemic shutdown. And Scotto says, and I remember eggs were like $12 a dozen, you know. I just love seeing him squirm a little bit. You know?
Yeah, well, he should. And eventually, I think it's happening. The false assumptions on the left will catch up with them.
You know, gas was $5.02 under Biden in June of 2022. But somehow Jeffries forgets that. There's a selective memory going on.
That's right.
It's a neurological disease.
It's called
Trump
false assumptions about reality caused by leftist assumptions.
Yeah. So at the time, the Democratic Party, they've just blamed the price surge on the aftermath of COVID, the beginning of the Russian-Ukrainian war. So it was never Biden's fault.
Right.
But actually, Biden was the one that cut off all, refineries, or cut off drilling. Said we're not going to go to ANWA. Took it off.
Yes.
And offshore drilling was stopped.
And we are producing more oil now than we ever did under Biden.
Ever. So he was cutting it all off at the same time. And to keep the prices from getting too out of control, he drained the
national security, it's the capacity where we have put oil in the ground to hold it for future use.
Yeah. He drained it. I mean, as much as he could. I mean, there was a legal limit. He couldn't go below.
Completely empty, but yes, he did. He used it, and it was an obvious attempt to try to buy votes by reducing the price of gasoline at the time.
That's all he was, because he was just trying to cut off refineries, cut off exploration, cut off drilling, and cut off fracking, and basically hate on the industry, but wanted to keep prices down low enough that it didn't cause too much disruption. It only got up to $5 a gallon. But as soon as that reservoir was gone, of course it was going to go up. Except Trump jumps in and starts bringing back drill, baby, drill.
And I expect that in the next few months, as the oil price drops, and in the last I saw it was down to like $83. I don't know
that
what
was
the
yesterday.
latest is.
You got to check it day by day, because the Ukrainians may just
happen so fast.
I mean, Ukrainians, Iranians may just pop off. You don't know. I don't think anything's completely
right.
stable.
Happen, but the point is that the price is dropping
78.20 right
and
now.
I expect that President Trump, being a businessman, will fill up the National Reserve with cheap oil.
Well, that's what he did when he was in.
Yeah, exactly. We know it happened before.
Strategic Reserve, exactly.
That's
right.
it. Yeah.
It was as low as $77.46, which of course is still higher than what it was before the
I think I recall
$60
something like $59 or $60.
Yeah, something like that.
But I think it's going to, as long as the Strait of Hormuz remains open, I believe the price of oil will drop rapidly.
Yeah, it was like $55 to $60 range in that area. It kept bouncing around in that when Trump got into office.
And
got it down.
I think that what I read an article by it's a guy who puts out a newsletter kind of thing called G Captain, I think, and he focuses on maritime news, and he's brilliant. He's made a reputation. It's a full-time job now, and he talked about what happened to the independent oil tanker operators during this the Gulf War, or not the Gulf War, the Iranian War that we've had.
The Shadow
recently.
Fleet.
Yes, he talked about all this, and
Yeah.
his take on it was that it wasn't anywhere near as catastrophic as was predicted, because the Shadow Fleet used AI to optimize their operations.
To stay hidden.
Well, no,
I don't know how you hide
to move from getting supplies in the Arabian Gulf to getting them in from the U.S. and other places, and to use different routes to supply with oil.
And we're talking the Shadow Fleet that goes without transponders, and
no, not necessarily, but the independent operators who maybe own a couple of oil tankers, 2 or 3. The people who move the bulk container ships like Maersk and other big lines, that's really just a small number of people that are highly coordinated. But for oil tankers, it's hundreds, if not thousands, of operators. And so they have it's more of a marketplace, more of a bazaar. And they don't coordinate with each other because they're all competing against each other, but they all have AI available to them on their own computers, and the AI will make suggestions like, well, consider this route, it might be more profitable, or look at that. And he says that coordination and the fragmentation, which tried 1,000 different ways of optimizing routes and deliveries and where to get the oil and all that, is what kept everything together instead of millions of people starving as was originally projected. And
that started during the Ukraine-Russia war, or
no, as the Strait of Hormuz was closed.
Okay,
so he's talking just to the last few months.
There were people that predicted it was going to be well over $200.
Yes,
never reached that.
And also, it was predicted that because we would not get the nitrogen out to various places for fertilizer,
right,
that there would be no crops growing and there'd be mass starvation. Of course, we still have a ways to go because the current crops are growing right now.
There's still a bit of a shortage, I want to understand.
And I suspect there has
been.
But
I imagine that'll be taken care of in the next few weeks.
Well, and we know that President Trump and the U.S. military had arranged a sort of secret transfer so that people could, oil tankers and other tankers could get through, and that hundreds of ships did this. And so how much of that transported fertilizer? I don't know. But I suspect a fair amount.
But that happened just within the last few weeks.
Right. But it's right at the start of the growing season. So if you don't have fertilizer, and now maybe you can apply some of it later. I suspect you can. I know a tiny bit about farming, but mostly it's from my parents and grandparents, sort of nearly subsistence farming. It's not modern agriculture.
Yeah.
So, that it's a lot different now. But my point is that all these terrible catastrophes that were predicted didn't happen. And a lot of it had to do with people being able to optimize their abilities on the marketplace.
Just to wrap up on Hakeem Jeffries, I just think it's just kind of crazy that he takes a microphone to talk about the forever war that just got settled.
Yeah.
And
his timing couldn't be worse.
And it lasted 100 days, not forever. And the gas prices that are rocketing down right now, legitimately.
Right.
$78 a barrel now, and $3.99 a gallon or under nationwide.
Well, something on that line, something that people are not talking about is those high prices, the high prices that we had, incentivized oil drillers and producers in the U.S. to ramp up their capacity very rapidly. And they're not going to go down right away.
But that was part of it. The rest of it was that Trump opened the places back up.
Oh, yeah.
That Trump encouraged.
Absolutely.
And that they got favorable treatment by the EPA. They got favorable treatment by states.
Right. Instead of the federal government saying we want to reduce oil production as much as possible, it was we want to increase oil production as much. It's a huge difference.
Biden was very good at saying, well, what do you mean? They got like 4,000 leases. They can drill anytime they want. And the oil companies had to come out and say, no one will give us a permit.
Yeah.
We can't get past the EPA.
And that 4,000
so
leases
they say it, but they're not.
It's just a number. It doesn't mean that those are productive places to actually look for oil.
No, and it doesn't mean they're given permission to put a pipe in the ground.
Right.
But Biden was good at doing that. At saying that stuff.
At gaslighting the American people, essentially.
Well, what do you mean? They got all these leases. Tell them to use those. They don't need any more. So she was shutting it down little by little, and
I think
ripping off the reserves.
Correct. And another thing that's happening that people are probably aware of, Venezuelan oil production is increasing month by month by month.
It actually is. It was like last time I looked, it was like 1.2, 1.3 million barrels a day.
And increasing.
And it's up significantly from where it was.
Right.
It was like at 800,000.
And it will probably double what it is here as more American companies find that there's enough stability there to put people on the ground and do the technological improvements.
I don't know how much they've done that yet, but some of the improvements I would think would take a year or
so.
More.
Absolutely. And there's probably stuff they could do. They've done stuff.
Well, they've done stuff. They've
already
some great
increased at about 50%.
But they used to do 4 or 5 million a day. Now they back up.
It will get back up there, but it's going to take some time, and that relieves pressure on the Strait of Hormuz too.
And Venezuela's making the money.
Well, yes, but a lot of the money is starting to go to some of the Venezuelan people instead of just a few top cats and being spread out to Putin.
But the country's going to have success. The country's going to have wealth, and
it's one of the great successes of foreign policy in our time.
Yeah, and that one was a 2-hour war.
Yeah, right. That's about correct.
Yeah, it was just a couple hours and everyone says, "Okay, what do you want? We'll do it."
And we're working on something similar. Hasn't happened yet in Cuba.
Oh, yes. In fact, Trump has already put out notice that Cuba's next.
Yes, they've been saying that for a while. And Cuba is a basket case right now.
Oh, I know. They're hurting.
Horrible.
Their electricity is mostly off.
Right.
Because they just don't have power. And they've let some.
They had some Soviet era power plants, but you can't get parts for them anymore. And they're starting to break down. They're like 60 years old.
We cut the oil off when Venezuela.
Well, there's that because we cut it off from Venezuela.
But Trump did start allowing humanitarian type stuff.
Well, it's in our interest to prevent Cuba from completely going down to subsistence level farming, because even now there's huge numbers of Cubans fleeing the country, but we don't want to have to contend with millions of Cuban refugees in the U.S. again.
From all I understand, though, the Cuban dictators have not acquiesced at all or said anything too much.
It's got to be a mixed bag. They can't all be saying, let's destroy the country as long as we're in charge. The I'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven kind of thing.
One of my listeners, I always enjoy his point counterpoint stuff,
yeah, right.
Zoran Mandami, according to polls, is the most popular politician amongst younger voters. I agree. I mean, he probably is very popular among those whose brains haven't developed. Maybe Jefferson was right that every generation has a right to adapt government according to the times.
Of course, Jefferson was right.
Yeah.
But
it's an experiment. Great.
There's a lot. We are having right now an experiment and change in what's in the U.S. The Trump counter-revolution is changing things enormously.
Right. And we'll see where Mandani, how successful he is. I suspect
I wouldn't call him successful other than getting elected.
I suspect he's successful at being popular right now. How long does that last when food runs out and services are cut?
I mean, the prediction seems the most likely seems to be is that things will get worse in New York. It may take a year or two.
But now I know that this guy's a racist because he said Jeffrey's not the brightest light bulb in Congress. So you're not allowed to say that about a black man.
Well,
according to the Southern Poverty Law
he's the leader in the House, isn't he? The minority leader?
Yes, he is. That's because nobody else wanted it. He was absent that day.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's probably true.
So I'm not signing up for that.
Oh man. He does not come across as a sterling intellect. It's true.
Edward says, sends me some breaking news, which isn't breaking at all. because it's Tuesday. Several squad members are drafting impeachment articles for Trump treason as they believe he surrendered to Iran. So, I mean, don't they do that every Tuesday?
More like every other day.
Every other day?
Like
we're drawing up impeachment. We're drawing up impeachment. That's their answer to all the problems in the world.
And it's crazy. I mean,
when will they realize
we don't know what is going to happen in the Gulf of Hormuz with Iran.
No, they're volatile, and who knows?
My suspicion is that it's going to be, as Victor Davis Hanson suggested, the only way to handle the situation is when Iran breaks the terms of the agreement, which will probably happen, that we hit them hard again.
And I think General Jack, what's his name, said the same thing. I watched the Victor Davis one when he said that.
Okay.
You know, there's got to be a heavy hand.
There has to be
heavy, and because they will, they're going to try it. They're going to step out of bounds.
I agree.
According to their history. Anyway.
Well, it's not just that, but the regime, I don't think, has very good control. I think it's fractured. It's fragmented. And maybe they will be able to exert total control over, or a unified control over Iran. I doubt it. I mean, I think they've been hit hard enough, and the leadership has been fragmented, and that there's going to be a power struggle, and I think that's what's probably happening.
And it was General Jack Keane that said the same thing. And he's been on the news a lot.
Wow,
and I like him.
He agrees with me. He must be brilliant.
Of course. George Conway's in the news. You remember George Conway?
Yes, I do.
He was married to Kellyanne Conway, which is really
Are
odd.
they not married anymore?
No,
they're still married, aren't they?
I thought they weren't. Previously married.
Oh, well, okay, I'm wrong. Or I had not understood that
he is
divorced.
I mean, there's not too much I like about him.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and I'm allowed to because he's white, and it's not racist. but he's just a jerk. He's running for Congress.
Yeah.
And his whole platform.
I hate Trump.
Yeah, and is going to impeach him for the third time and put him away for good. And he puts a 60-second spot out there for his campaign. Says, "Hi, Donald, it's me, George Conway. I cost you $88 million. And if I've only gotten started." And he did it while he was overlooking the Capitol behind him and all that stuff. I know you're putting your name on everything from your plane to the Kennedy Center, but the only thing your name is going to be left on when I'm done is the orange jumpsuit you're going to have to wear in prison. That's his campaign.
He's kind of full of himself, and I think he's just plain wrong. But the evidence indicates that I'm closer to reality than him.
And then he points to the Capitol. He says, and you see that building back there? That's where you're going to hold your third and final impeachment trial. The one that's going to put you away for good. And I'm going to enjoy every minute of that. Impeachment doesn't do anything but put you out of office.
Correct.
I don't think it puts you in an orange jumpsuit.
No,
dude.
It doesn't.
Now, Conway doesn't specify why he's going to be impeached.
No.
So this news organization contacted him to see if they could maybe specify what it was. No comment.
Yeah. Oh, that's what he's running on.
What difference does it make?
His running is, I hate Trump.
Yeah, why would you even ask? Because
if you have to ask the question, you're not informed.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Everybody knows.
He's a bad man. He's not leading in the race. There's 3 Democrats ahead of him in a heavy Democratic district. He's running for the.
Yeah, but he got some news coverage.
Was it good news though? I know they say any news is good news. I don't think so.
Well, maybe for him. It sounds like he wants the attention.
But he's running for the seat that Nadler's not going to occupy anymore. Nadler's backing out. Jerry Nadler's another guy. Just when he opens his mouth, I go, "Oh no."
Yeah, well, I agree.
Yeah, just what kind of
he
doom and gloom and dumb crap are you going to say?
He has not, shed a good light on the Congress.
No. And by the way, Conways were divorced in 23.
Wow. So it's been 3 years.
My only question on that is like, what took so long, Kellyanne? What? Even when she was a campaign manager, he was just terrible.
He was, but I don't know. I'm not inside their marriage. I don't know what went on between them, But I admire people who try to keep it all, hold it together.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I can't disagree with that. 8 people believed dead after a B-52 crash. You hear about that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, man.
Terrible.
It happened at Edwards Air Force Base.
And as my understanding, they were taken off for some deployment. They were fully loaded.
No.
No, it was training.
No.
What was it?
This was a test flight. They had,
okay. Well,
Boeing had 2 employees on board.
Oh.
Boeing puts out a statement, says, we extend our deepest condolences to the loved ones of the 8 crew members who lost their lives in the B-52 crash at Edwards Air Force Base. It's with great sadness that we confirm 2 Boeing employees were amongst those on board. We are in contact with their families and offering support. It was carrying 8 people, routine test mission.
Okay, a test mission.
And Boeing's doing a lot of work with them to upgrade.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
these things, including the engines and everything,
have been upgraded and upgraded and upgraded. I mean,
they've been around
like
since
50
the 50s.
years old.
Oh,
more than that. I mean,
The-
the B-52, 52 is probably the year that came out.
yeah, but some of the older ones I'm sure are gone, but because they kept making them for a while. But
Well, there was quite a fleet of them,
Right.
and but they have the engines have been upgraded. All the avionics have been upgraded.
They're going to put brand new engines on them now.
Yes,
They're taking the old engines off and putting on some. They've already selected the engine they're putting on, but
right, and it's more powerful and more fuel efficient,
but
much more fuel efficient.
And B-52 is unique in that it has 2 engines side by side, 2 engines side by. So it's got 8 engines on it.
Yeah.
And they thought, well, with the modern engines, they could put 1 engine in place of the 2.
So,
but it wouldn't work with the wing and everything and the way
okay.
that it's all set up. They had to go to something similar. So they're going to put 8 engines on it again. But they're going to be more modern, like you said.
yes, I read an article about them, and they said the engines were considerably more powerful and more fuel efficient.
More reliable.
Yeah.
Obviously they're not
Take
70-year-old technology.
Right. I mean, and the fact that the
and
52 is still flying is really remarkable.
And it's the same engine they're using on other aircraft that's within the military. It's private enterprise plus military. There's a lot of them.
Yeah,
so
I'm trying to think of who makes them. Rolls Royce, maybe?
I think it was Rolls Royce. The last B-52 to crash was in 2016 at a base in Guam, also a takeoff accident.
That's not such a horrible. Well, you'd have to look at the miles flown, but these planes fly enormous numbers of miles.
Oh gosh,
and so have a crash every decade.
Yeah, not good.
Well,
and takeoff is very vulnerable. You're slow. You're under
exactly
heavy power.
Right. Yeah, it's the worst.
You heard about that one that killed 12 people. Just this weekend.
The one with the people who were doing skydiving.
Oh, so horrible. But the same thing. It was a turboprop plane designed for skydivers. I guess a lot of skydivers use this plane. 12 people on board, a single engine, and apparently just shortly after takeoff, they took a left turn to come back. Always a mistake. I was trained as a pilot to never. I mean, that's a reflex. You think, something's wrong. I'll turn back. But the second you dip that wing,
you lose lift.
You're already going barely above stall speed.
Right.
You lose lift, and you're fully loaded with gas. You're fully loaded.
And you got these. Yeah, you got a big passenger load. You're not high enough for them to.
You don't have the airspeed.
Right.
You just don't.
So, do they say anything about they lost power?
No. They suspect. Is all. They're guessing that there was a power issue.
I mean, that would be the first thing I'd suspect.
But if you don't have power, the last thing you want to do is do a turn. Keep those wings level as you can, and I don't care. If you're going to hit a few trees or something, that's better than falling out of the sky.
Yeah, I had a friend who got a stall up in Canada. They were hunting wolves in the 1950s, and the plane fell right into a big tree, and that saved them because the tree absorbed so much energy that they ended up hanging from their seatbelts just a few feet above the ground. The plane was completely destroyed.
The guy that trained me, Art, he was a FFA guy, but he was a pilot, used to fly mail deliveries. I mean, he was a kind of a wild Art Rodriguez. I really liked him. A lot of the pilots around town said, don't learn to fly from him. He's crazy. He's going to take you to the edge of things. Well, that's the guy I want.
Yeah.
I want Art Rodriguez. Well, he said when he was training in Portland, they trained him, like, if you lose engine power or whatever, pick out a couple trees that you can fit, but the fuselage between, it'll rip the wings off. It'll slow you down and you'll be fine. And it happened to one of his students one time. They had to call up and said, I did exactly what you think. I'm fine. The plane's destroyed, but I went between 2 trees. So Art flew out there right away to see if he's okay. He was in an area where there was only 2 trees, and he found them.
I mean, it sounds like maybe he could have done a belly landing.
He could have like landed.
Wow.
But he had that in his mind for 2 trees, go between them.
And I recall,
yeah, because there's a lot of forest in Portland.
Stories of pilots in Brazil where their plane failed and they ended up in triple canopy jungle. And the hard part was figuring a way to get down to the ground.
Once they were caught up in the trees. Yeah. And I learned a lot from Art, though, because he pushed you to the edge, which a lot of guys aren't going to do because, it's probably not the safest place to be.
Well, yeah.
But that's why you need the training on what to do when you get there.
Right. I had a close friend who was a pilot. He never got his pilot's license, even though thousands and thousands
There's people that do that
in the air.
I've heard of
it. He got to where he could solo. And then I actually think that, and he was a spook. So I think he didn't want to be on a list of people who had private pilot license.
Maybe.
But he was a pretty good pilot. And I mean, the amount of care and training that he talked about that you did, you get an aircraft, you read all the crashes that happened to it,
right.
You look at what's going on. I was amazed. I mean, I had aspirations to become a pilot at one point. Never happened, but it might have been worthwhile considering all the effort that had to go into it.
But you hear about these guys that land with, a lot of the equipment's destroyed in the air, particularly with war.
Oh, yeah.
But the same with the private pilot, you see where they land when systems fail and all that, because they don't panic. They know the plane.
Right. And they have a plan.
They
understand the procedure. Here's the procedure when this happens.
Right. And I said, and I'm headstrong, obviously. And Art
really?
And Art tried to break me. And when I had a Cessna 152 and I read everything about it. Like you said, I read everything about it. Well, I was doing things in the air, and I was not a natural pilot. I couldn't land. I would land nicely, and Art would congratulate me. And I said, but I don't know how I did it. I don't know I can duplicate it.
Landing's the hardest, is what I understand.
But I was still headstrong on what I knew about the plane and all. So he took me up in the air one time. We got up to 7,000 feet or something. He said, let me have the plane. And I said, okay. And he put it into a death spiral.
Oh, yeah.
He said, go ahead, take it out. And he just folded his arms. So I did. He says, how did you know how to do that? I said, read the manual.
I read what I was supposed to read.
Yeah.
But you remembered it too. And you remembered what you had to do.
And I don't panic. Art's not going to let me die. I don't care. He's not going to let me get hurt.
That's a good article of faith, I guess.
Yeah, so I knew I was safe. So I just did exactly what the manual said, pulled it right out. And he was like, holy man, how'd you? Because he thought I'd just panic. And after I soiled myself and begged him to take it back, he would save my life. But I like, no, I got this. His problem was he thought I was overconfident. And he tried to destroy that.
Okay.
I stayed confident. I confident in what I knew.
Yeah.
And also confident there were so many things I didn't know. I didn't understand sometimes how I had a perfect landing.
Yeah, well, sure.
Like it was a fluke or something.
Well,
and I just want to do it again and again and again and again. You get your license after 40 hours. I got mine after 80.
Okay.
Because I just didn't feel like I owned that plane yet. So Art assured me I won't get comfortable until I have 250 hours. And he was about right. It was about 250 before I felt like I could throw it around and it was really mine.
Well, I've read biographies of people who were wartime fighters. And what stuck out to me was how there seems to be a sort of a breaking point where suddenly the pilot is so familiar with that craft that it becomes an extension of their body.
That's how I felt with it. Like it felt like, I could wheel that plane.
Yeah. I mean, and you were so and you knew how everything reacted so that when you wanted to do something, you just did it. It was sort of muscle memory.
Right. Well, I used to fly into Tucson a lot to pick up my mother-in-law or something. And they got to know me down there, 736 Romeo Hotel. And they would, it's a busy airport sometimes. And they would just say, clear to land, no delay, runway 1, or something like was not heavily used. And then they would just watch me because I would come in hot as I could. And going downhill, that plane goes, a lot faster.
Sure.
So I would burn it up coming in to runway 1. And right before I get there, you just turn the plane sideways. So the side of the plane hits the wind. And right before you touch down, you just turn straight ahead and land. And they would say, nice landing, 6 Romeo Hotel. I don't even think they were that busy. They were just bored. They want to see me do a no delay landing or something, but I felt so comfortable in that plane that it was,
well, you'd reach that point where it was an extension. And a lot of people are that way with cars.
And that was my 172 XP, a little more power, but still slow, safe Cessna, not great at any one thing, but pretty good at everything.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
And I read the same thing about bush pilots.
Yeah.
That they do amazing stuff. Because most people don't think about, I'm going to land on this sandbar that's only 100 yards long, and then I have to manually turn the plane around so I can get back off.
Local farmer Mark Smith has a Cub that's a stall, sort takeoff landing.
Yeah, right.
And he would take me out in that just to show me what it could do. And I mean, we just got nowhere in the desert, just nowhere, and he just put it down in 50 feet.
Yeah,
it was just amazing, and the big tires and everything. And,
right, and you have
and of course, if something happens, you don't have a mechanic nearby.
No,
but he was like comfortable with that plane. He knew what it would do. He knew.
But reading these stories of the bush pilots in Alaska, it's just amazing, and it really reiterates there's no old bold pilots.
Correct.
I mean, because these people were constantly checking and rechecking,
but it looks like they were doing the edge of the stuff. But they knew the plane, they knew the territory, they knew what.
Well, that's right, and
otherwise they wouldn't be around.
Almost all of them had close calls.
Yeah,
which just drove the point home. You've got to be prepared. You have to know all the plane, know all the territory, know all the things you have to do to prevent problems.
In fact, my friend Art Rodriguez totaled a plane before he landed. He was caught in a thunderstorm and went up to like 30,000 feet down, and it was just blowing him all around.
Yeah, you get into an updraft,
and it bent the plane up so bad.
And he managed to land it.
Oh, he landed it.
Wow.
But that's the kind of pilot he was. He wasn't going to panic, and he got caught in updrafts, downdrafts.
Yeah, I mean, as a meteorologist, you really get severe air turbulence.
It bent the plane up.
Wow. And he managed to land.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, he landed it, walked away, and then they just crushed it after that. There was nothing that was straight on the plane after that. And that's pretty hard to do. These planes are...
Well, they're built to be pretty tough.
They're pretty tough. I can't imagine how you bend one, especially in the air, but pretty rough.
Yeah.
Boston police just arrested a 14-year-old. Yeah, he was a masked 14-year-old who robbed a lemonade stand with a firearm. An 11-year-old girl and her 12-year-old brother were doing a lemonade stand.
Wow.
It just seems not real, does it?
Yeah, well, I read about these cases because I sort of, it's part of what I do for writing. That case I hadn't heard of specifically, but it's not uncommon for 14-year-olds to be out attempting armed robbery.
I mean, I know South Boston's tough, but man,
yeah,
a lemonade stand. Apparently they cased the place. They walked by a few times, and of course, if they have masks on, would you notice them? I guess, or maybe they didn't put the mask on until the last time. I don't know. But they walked by and they came by and asked them, "Do you accept Apple Pay?"
Okay.
Which is odd for a lemonade stand for an 11-year-old.
Right.
You accept Apple Pay, and before they could respond, grab the cash box. It was pink, by the way, a pink cash box, and the other guy, there was two of them. The other guy flashed the firearm, took it out of his waistband.
Yeah.
They got away with $50. That's pretty good for a lemonade stand.
Well, for a lemonade stand, maybe not too bad, but I'm thinking, a lot of repercussions from this, and
yeah, they're gonna try him as juveniles, even though it was armed robbery. That they got him facing multiple firearm charges, and there were surveillance video, which shows the suspects with black face coverings and carrying a black backpack and a pink box. That was the cash box, they think, and they're going to be processed as juvenile delinquents.
It's getting harder and harder to get away with crime. Don't do it,
man. But at 14, that's going wrong really fast. I can't imagine at 14 doing that. It makes me curious, like how do you get there? I mean, it had to be influences in their lives that were not healthy.
Well, there are communities in the U.S., almost everywhere in the world, there's some, which are criminal communities. People grow up in them idolizing criminals. Criminals are the ones with money in the communities.
But it had to be mentors or something in the neighborhood or relatives.
You can have criminal mentors too.
Edward just sent me something, and he is a big football fan, not soccer.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to say that. It says, Iran coach says team ordered out of U.S. right after World Cup opener. That's awesome. It took a few hours. He didn't say who ordered him to leave. The team had expected to spend the night in California. My understanding was they were ordered out, and before I got this article, was because the fear that they would try to escape and stay in the United States.
So it was a governmental order for them to leave?
Didn't say.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that their tickets and everything would be all arranged beforehand.
He said they didn't give us time to recover. Said through the interpreter after the game today, they said to us, you have to leave immediately. It's very important to have time for recovery. We were asked to get a plane and return to our camp in Tijuana. And we were really troubled by that. But I heard.
So where were they?
In the United States.
Yes, but I mean, they were in California somewhere, I take it. So it's probably not a huge flight to Tijuana. It's right on the border.
No, and do they have better security there for them to keep them from, asking for asylum or something?
I don't know. There's so many unknowns here that it's hard to really make much of it.
Is it that hard to get on a plane when you're exhausted? You still see it sit down.
Well, right, exactly. It's not like they're being asked to play. I mean, and how much difference was it from what they were planning beforehand, and how much of this is just a play for sympathy or whatever? I don't know.
They were in Los Angeles. We have to leave Los Angeles right now.
That's about 200 miles.
Oh, and he said several players have developed cramps from being on the plane. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, Sandy.
Wow, there's a lot going on.
Oh my, we got everything.
You have, I know, it's amazing. I've heard a lot of positive stuff about the UFC fight and playing President Reagan's speech to the country regarding Flag Day.
Right.
And even sportscasters saying, man, this was so well done. It was better than the NBA finals. And all that's going on at the same time. You've got J.D. Vance out there talking to the media who, because they are our enemies, they've just got to preach the deep state Iranian talking points.
Uh-huh.
It's not really the leadership. And he does just an excellent job. And both he and President Trump are saying it's basically up to Iran. I'm trying to do better for Edward, saying Iran. I hope that's right.
I'm sure Iran.
Anyway,
Iran.
Doing both of them talking about it's up to them. It's up to, if they behave and in a responsible manner, they're going to thrive. And the United States and the other Middle Eastern countries will help. And then he goes to the G7 that night, and he's, honest to God, people, you need to love this president. He's like the hero of the world. All the respect that these countries are showing him, and he some of these Middle Eastern countries that helped get the Iran deal. You know, he makes sure and points that out. I know I'm not seeing everything. I can't even follow your show. I've got too much stuff to do early in the morning.
I know.
I can't survive in the heat. I'm sorry. I don't know why we're here, but we are. Anyway.
Hey, it's only really hot for about 3 months out of the year.
I think it's 6. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Long history of it. I think it's 6. It's just maybe 3 of those 6, the mornings are nice. So
all right.
I like the mornings being nice, but, and he's got a lot going on, meeting all these different, people from different countries. So he's got that going on while J.D. Vance is out there talking to our media and trying to straighten them out, which unfortunately, because the media is so bad, with all the things that we see these guys doing, they don't get the credit that they should get. So I liked how some of the commentators yesterday, when some of the far left media people were talking about, oh, the UFC, it demeaned the White House. And some of them brought up, you don't think the trans thing with the tranny and with her breasts exposed at the White House?
They didn't mention that, right? They don't talk about that.
No, they don't mention that. But what's really nice is because I'd forgotten.
Yeah.
These commentators or media, and they put the picture out, and I go, oh yeah, I remember that was right out in the media. They put that with somebody with their breasts exposed. So, you know, just, you need to give that up, and they need to quit putting out I don't think it's all the Iranian leadership, but the ones that are deep staters, the ones trying to undermine. And yes, I guess President Trump and Netanyahu are having a little conflict on things, but I still think overall they're working together. And I love President Trump for being honest with Netanyahu. I think that makes him a good leader, that he doesn't try to pander to anybody.
Yeah.
And he tries to promote our country. And so it's so much. I was sending you a bunch of stuff, and I'm going, oh my gosh. And I finally just stopped. That's enough. But anyway, he's even getting jerseys from the German something or other. Gave him a jersey with 47 on it. So, and then all the soccer matches and the foreign people just having a blast and loving America, and, you know, just a lot of really good things, and just some of those people that are pretty sick on the, you know, I didn't even know that was going on until afterwards with De Niro and that bunch.
Oh, did you watch it? Any of it?
I only saw clips.
It was horrible.
And they're terrible.
Oh my.
They can't even sing worth beans. You know what? I didn't even recognize it was Bette Midler.
Yeah.
Until I saw somebody had written, and I go, you're kidding me.
She still sings better than I do.
They don't look well.
Not much. No. And they were all dressed terribly.
They don't look well.
Why do they not put some clothes on? Or that, I mean, it looks like they were just at the house doing, you know, working in the backyard, and somebody said, run down and do this. You know, I was like, holy man, put on some clothes.
And some of them are the wealthiest people in the country.
Yes. Yes.
So I think they're trying to relate. They think that you and I are scum buckets, so we'll dress as scum buckets.
Maybe that's it.
By you and I, I'm saying MAGA or something like that.
Yeah,
that's all I can figure.
They didn't have more than a few hundred people total in that audience. It was not a large theater. It was a small theater. And
it's like what late night comedy did to late night comedy.
Okay.
You know, the hatred's not good.
Oh,
and then I was thinking of Hakeem Jeffries. He likes to wear these caps that are too big for him. And I don't know if he's a wannabe rapper, a wannabe gang member, but he's definitely one of the many faces of immaturity in the Democrat Party.
There you go.
He's been described
very immature.
He's been described as a dollar store Obama.
I've also heard dial-up Obama, and these people play, you know how the AOL dial-up sound?
Yeah.
These people play that AOL dial-up, and I can't help it. I laugh every time I hear it, because it is so funny.
He doesn't like that, by the way. Don't do it.
Oh, I know. But I don't like him lying to people
Oh,
every single day. Every single day. He never tells the truth. In fact, there is no one in that party that tells the truth. And more people need to say, Bernie was anti-millionaires until he became a millionaire.
Right.
Then he became anti-billionaire.
Yeah, now he's anti-billionaire. But I'm concerned that the young people just don't understand how bad socialism is.
Oh, you're right.
And it would be really good if somehow we could get some of the people that have escaped socialist countries like Cuba and others, and I don't know how you get them out there, maybe through ads, so they could speak to the young people to get them to understand. Because so many of them, which is sad and it's wrong, and it shows terrible upbringing, but they want things free.
Yeah, they do.
They don't want to pay for anything. And that's a horrible, horrible mindset. And they had to be raised with that.
Well, and
we can't just blame that all on teachers.
We got politicians giving them everything and guaranteeing they were going to get everything.
I know. They were trying to say they were going to get rid of their huge amounts of money they paid for college to get a degree that was worthless.
Yeah.
So they wanted us to pay for that. And I saw something where somebody said, all these people want things that other people have worked for, and they just want to take their money. That's with Elon Musk. They want to spend his money that he made. They're so jealous. They have so much envy. And those are mental disorders when you're like that. And they just keep showing it. But I don't know. I really, really hope we win the midterms. I noticed a poll from our local media. They were showing Trump is not well liked, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking all he does, and it's just a shame, So
yeah, the polls.
Glad the gas prices are going down.
Oh, $3.99 this morning.
$3.99.
Yeah.
Here in Yuma at the Arco station on 16th.
Very good.
Well, maybe they'll get down to $2 or below.
I suspect they'll get below $3 before the midterms.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
I just wonder if people will recognize how much he's getting done. Maybe they should show a picture of a nuclear bomb going off so they can understand what it means to protect the world, our country, every country from a nuclear bomb going off. Maybe that's what they need. When Johnson was running against our guy from Arizona, I can't remember his name anymore. Right. Against Goldwater, that's what they played with the Indian crying.
Right.
I don't know if was it a nuclear bomb or some other kind of bomb.
Yeah, I think they call it the Daisy ad or something. Didn't they have a girl with a flower in it?
Oh,
yes. Very
yes.
famous.
Right. Maybe we need pictures like that so that they could understand. I remember seeing some, I don't know if it was a nuclear bomb or a different bomb, where they would drop it and they had these made up fabricated houses with fabricated people and stuff inside, and they'd show what happened.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was devastating.
Yeah, a nuclear test that we did at Trinity, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, it was nuclear. I was going like, I'm not sure. The thing is, maybe they just don't have that concept, because I got to see the visuals when I was growing up, and I got to hear about it. Of course, we were doing the get under your desk thing too.
Sandy, I don't believe they think Iran was as dangerous as they were. I think they just think Trump wanted this war, so it didn't matter.
Well, I think it's only a small percentage of the population who think that way, maybe 20%. I mean, and of voters, it may be less in the United States. I think the old media propaganda that's going out there just isn't as effective as it used to be.
Yeah.
No, but it's too bad the Democrat Party leaders are so immature.
Yeah, I agree.
They couldn't do the right thing. If an angel sat on their shoulder and said, "You need to do the right thing," they'd still be listening to the devil on the other shoulder. They just can't. It's impossible. Other than like Fetterman, They just can't do the right thing for the American people. And we just need more American people to understand that. So,
yeah.
and they need to remember how bad it was with Biden and the Democrats and what they basically did to people. You know, they kept you trapped in your home, wouldn't let you go to church or attend funerals, mandated that you had to take a shot, you know, just so you could work. There's so many bad things that they did just a few years ago. So anyway, love your show.
Thank
I'm sorry
you,
I'm busy right now.
Stay busy.
And I love talking to you. I'll try to listen more, and then I got to get more done because then I stop doing anything.
Take care. All right, man. Bye-bye.
All right. You guys have a great day.
All right.
Bye.
That's a sign of a good show,
Nice,
I think.
Sandy. Nice. That was nice of her.
Yeah. She said something that I want to elaborate on a bit.
Okay.
And that she was talking about foreigners, people from other countries coming over here for the World Cup and then lauding what they found in America. And there's a German citizen who came over from the Cup, and he's putting out, I think, a podcast of his experiences here in America, and he's had millions of hits now. His name is Freddie, as I understand, and I've looked at some of the stuff, and he's like, oh, there's this gas station they call Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
And he's going, wow, it's incredible what you can get here. And then he went, look, here's this sporting goods store. And he's talking about outdoor, let's see. It used to be Cabela's, but now they have a different name, I think. And it's got all these mounts of animals. And he says, this is insane. They have a shooting range inside the store. and he's just going incredible. He says, I love America. It's wonderful.
We take it for granted. Look,
we do.
And I've never seen a Buc-ee's, but I need to go. They're like the size of a small grocery store. They're a grocery
big
store.
groceries, a good sized grocery.
You've been in them.
Yes.
I've never seen one.
I've
been reading about them long enough.
And they have this, they sell the cheapest gas around the area.
Well, one's coming to Phoenix. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, they're gonna put one in Mesa, I think.
And they have like a very large number of gas pumps that you can go to. It must be like 20 or 30 of them.
I'm gonna have to drive there just so I can go see them.
Or more. And they have this relatively it's part of their business strategy to offer the lowest price gas in the area, and then they make money on the food and souvenirs and things they sell inside the shop.
Well, apparently they specialize in unique stuff that no one else has.
They do.
And they have their own store brands of stuff.
That's right. And I mean,
and I've never been, but I've been reading.
I recall, they don't have it set up to where you eat inside the store. I mean, you don't have tables or anything. You can buy food there, but you're supposed to take it out. And people love them. They're doing fantastic.
Well, as soon as they put one, we need to go up there and
there's a thought.
And give them a review. Let's talk to Mike. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, both of you guys.
Morning.
Hey, listen, Ed tripped me up because you just said Ed was a football guy.
Yeah.
I thought he was a soccer guy.
Both are true. He does not call soccer. He calls soccer football.
Yeah, that's the European.
And he'll correct me if I say soccer. He knows.
Well, I hope he's listening.
Okay. Well, yeah. So
because soccer is not football.
Well, to the rest of the world, it is.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that call it soccer.
We defeated the rest of the world in every war. So soccer is not football. Okay. I'll tell you, soccer is at the most is practice for football. And soccer is no more than a playground game. And that's it.
Edward's going to find out your name and come get you for that.
Go ahead, because I've got something else to say.
What's that?
I will challenge any coach who coaches soccer to explain what the strategy is of that playground game, because there is none.
There isn't?
The strategy of soccer is you got the referee with the white and black striped shirt throws the ball into the field, and that's it. If there's any type of strategy, it all falls apart and it's just chaos. That's all.
Wow, I never knew that. And it's the #1 sport in the entire world.
Yeah.
Well, please somebody call in, challenge me, and tell me what the strategy is of that game when you compare it to the perfection of the NFL.
Well, there is a scoreboard. There is a way of keeping track. So.
Yeah, that's okay. You kick the ball into the net, and that's it.
Yeah,
I mean, it actually gets boring. That's why they get so drunk.
Mike, I take it from your comments that you don't really like it.
I hate it.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
And let me tell you why.
Why?
Let me tell you why. Because the march of the Democrat Party, and my challenge is still out there to anybody in your audience. Yeah. Name one thing that the Democrat Party has done to advance this country, and you cannot. But the Democrat Party has had a march to destroy this country, and one of the things that they did is they destroyed all. They did destroy all of the institutions of American society, and they first started with the man. They eliminated the father. They eliminated the husband. They destroyed they destroyed the fabric of family. The next thing that they destroyed was American exceptionalism. And what the best example of American exceptionalism, despite the fact that we defeated every country in war, we have the most inventions that benefit the world, is that they attacked American exceptionalism by attacking football. You remember when we were younger, well, okay, in the 1980s, the Democrat Party tried to say that if you allowed your son to play gridiron football, Pop Warner football, that was called child abuse.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
No, I never heard that before.
I've heard it.
Okay, thank you, Dean. And so what they did was they tried to eliminate football, and they tried to replace it with soccer. That's what they want to do. They want to get rid of the NFL and make soccer the American pastime.
Wow.
Which I got to tell you, what is the strategy of team effort in that game outside of just kicking a ball into a net and making score? The game gets boring by the end. People get drunk and they fight afterwards. That's one of the most common things about a soccer game is the gigantic fights after those games. But now let's describe. Have you ever put a helmet on, either of you, to play football?
Sure, I have.
No, I've never put a helmet on.
No,
touch football's closest I came.
Okay, I'm not trying to disregard you, but if you had the helmet on, you know that helmet immediately eliminates your peripheral vision by half. Okay, first of all, there's that. Then you have you don all this body armor. The NFL, you have 300-pound guys running a 440 or a 40-yard dash, a 40-yard dash in seconds. I mean, that is athleticism. That is the epitome of athleticism. And you have you on Sunday when you're playing that game, it's a game of team effort. And you have everybody knows a playbook of offense that's about 3 inches thick. Everybody knows a playbook of defense is about 3 inches thick. And you try to defeat that in that moment of that game. Vince Lombardi said it was ballet in collision. And it lasts about the time you count to 4 or 5. Because you get the hike of the ball, it's step 1, 2, 3, 4, and the game it's over. And you try it again. You either defeated the offense or you didn't defeat the offense. You advanced or you didn't advance. You get 3 chances to go.
I don't need the whole breakdown on the game. We all know it.
Well, you must, because when these guys call in and try to justify that playground game, it is nowhere as complex as playing football.
There's probably nothing as complex except cricket, maybe. But
what?
You might be right.
What did you say?
I said there's nothing as complex as football except maybe cricket. And then
I'll tell you what, football. Cricket is even more complex than soccer.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Soccer is the most popular in the world. You can't take that away from them.
You know what? No, it is not. The American media has made it the most popular.
Doesn't matter who made it. That's where it is. In fact, American football on a world scale is what, third, fourth, or
I
something.
don't know.
Doesn't even come in second.
I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah, no big deal.
Well, the idea of it was they used the demise of football to destroy American exceptionalism and masculinity, and that's the crux of this push between soccer and American football.
You really hate soccer.
No, really, I don't. It's a very good high school playground game for children.
On the world stage, it's the most popular professional sports in the world.
As America gets more and more away from their sense of American exceptionalism, as the media keeps pushing this crap on us, yes, it is getting popular in America. But there was a time where it was not popular.
Correct.
There was a time when, and that was only like 10 years ago.
All right.
You name a soccer player.
I don't. Pele.
All you can name is Pele, right? And he was a great player. Now he was somebody to buy a ticket and go see play.
I don't.
But name another one.
I don't follow soccer. I don't.
But you can name. You know that Brett Favre and Joe Montana, their jerseys sell all over the world.
Well, it's still not as popular, but whatever. We can discuss this forever. It's not going to change anything.
Well, you are obstinate. You are so obstinate.
No, I'm saying good for you for liking NFL more. I do too, but
the idea is that is what the Democrat Party used to attack the fabric of America to bring it down.
I don't believe that. I mean, I think they got other things like changing the language, putting in DEI, making us change our pronouns, all that stuff. I don't blame soccer. I'm not going to blame them.
Oh my God, the demise of the MSL is the precursor to the pronouns. Are you kidding me?
Whatever, Mike. I'm not following it.
I know. Here's the thing. I challenge anybody to call into the show and tell me what that stupid game is all about.
All right, I'll see who does it. I appreciate the call. Thanks, man. Man, he was adamant.
Well, he's passionate.
But
I have a reply to one of his things. He said, name one thing the Democratic Party has done for the United States. Well, the Democratic Party claims Thomas Jefferson as their first president.
He wasn't a Democrat. But
the party came from his anti-federalist party, essentially, and they claim him.
Okay.
And he did the Louisiana Purchase. And I think that's very positive.
And I think it's good that we say it. Well, Gilbert's calling. I'm sure it's about soccer. What do you got, Gilbert?
Oh, hell no. One of your greatest field goal kickers was a former soccer player. I believe there's like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And they've got the longest field goals. But what I called you about, Sandy was talking about showing images of nuclear explosions. We got pictures, lots of pictures of 2 cities in Japan that got annihilated, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. There's a lot of pictures out there to show the public what nuclear explosion can do to people. If we need to do it. Show these pictures again to make people realize what we're dealing with in Iran. What could happen to
what we're preventing. Yes.
Yes, what we are preventing. And also, Russell, because I don't know if you're still a vegan or not.
No.
But if you want the best beef jerkies in the United States of America, Bucky's the place you need to go.
Yeah,
they have an assortment. I'm telling you, Mr. Dean, been there many times. In Texas, when we go on our RV trails and stuff. Yeah, they got some best. They got an assortment of beef jerky that knock your lights out.
Where's this?
Yeah. Bucky's.
In Texas.
Bucky's.
In Texas,
okay.
San Antonio.
Okay.
San Antonio, and I believe it's Glendale or no, even closer. I thought. I'm trying to think outside of Gila Bend. That's not Casa Grande. Hell, what's the damn city right outside of Gila Bend going towards Phoenix?
Oh, I know what you mean, and I'm trying to remember the name too.
But there's what's going to be. Those are the first Buc-ee's.
That's where they're going to put it?
I believe so.
Wow,
that's going to be a good year.
That's right on the route to Phoenix. It'd be easy to stop by.
Yep. Yeah, but like I said, and talk about stuff. I'm not allowed to go in there anymore with my credit card.
Oh no.
Nope, I'm not allowed to go there.
Well, there's cash, you know.
No, I'm not allowed to go in there because of my wife.
Ah, well, okay. that explains it.
They have a lot of goodies in there that you just, whoa, it's unimaginable. But I'm going to tell you one thing about Buc-ee's, and I can brag about it because you know how I am.
Huh.
I was there, and they had a rug, a welcome rug, right? It had an American flag printed on this.
Oh, I remember you mentioning this.
Yeah, and I went to the office and told them about it, and they removed carpets.
Yeah,
from there. They were no longer.
Well, that was good on your part. I think you did a good thing.
I think they're called wall mounts now. Yeah, wall mounts.
Well, as soon as they get it open, we'll make a trip up there, Gilbert. We'll go up.
Oh heck yeah!
We'll take your credit card.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
You know, I've been thinking about Mike talking about
soccer
and the, you know, what sort of strategy they have and everything. And I'll make this comment. It's essentially the same as hockey.
Yeah.
Hockey is a much more violent soccer
because they're wearing pads so they can.
Well, and they use sticks.
Yeah.
You know, there's no sticks in soccer, but the strategy is very, very close.
I imagine. I looked up the highest paid soccer player in the world is Cristiano Ronaldo. $300 million a year.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Number 2, Lionel Messi, $140 million a year.
Whew.
And then $104 million a year for the next guy, $95 million a year.
Now, is that in dollars? I mean,
dollars.
It's not in yen
it's
or
in
something?
dollars.
Wow.
American dollars, $300 million a year. The highest paid NFL guy, $63 million.
Wow.
Doesn't even make the top 5 for soccer.
I mean, $300 million a year in 4 years. If he saved most of it, and there's no reason he couldn't, that's a billionaire.
Oh yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Of
course, we don't know what the taxes are on that.
I have no idea. I don't even know where he's from. But that's, I was just curious.
That's amazing. But we idolize our athletes.
Yeah, I thought the NFL was overpaid.
Yeah, $300 million.
Okay, here's what the average NFL salary cap is for an entire team for an entire season: $300 million. He gets that by himself.
That's just amazing.
So for having no strategy, he's pretty well paid.
Well, yeah.
I don't buy the no strategy, by the way.
Well, there's strategy. It's just may not be.
It's not what he
quite
likes.
As complex.
Robert De Niro on Sunday led that whole thing, Rise Up, Sing Out event. That's what it is. Rise Up, Sing Out in New York. That was the Democrats' version of anti-Trump for their fight for the on the White House lawn. They only had a few hundred people. It doesn't say, but just looking at it, it was a small place. Couldn't be a few hundred people. But De Niro says, we love our country regardless of political affiliation. And there was a half-hearted applause to that. And then he realized he made a mistake. He says, the phrase, we love our country, stuck in my throat because our country isn't so lovable right now. I hate to say it, but loving our country is starting to sound like an abused spouse saying they love their abuser.
Wow.
I can't love a country that starts stupid and inhumane wars, killing thousands of innocents and indirectly causing the deaths and suffering of millions more. I can't love a country that takes away health care from millions of people and uses the money to enrich their pals in the Trump Epstein class. I can't love a country that sends out masked militias to shoot citizens in the street, torture our neighbors, and separate families. I can't love a country that's led by a racist, misogynist, xenophobe tyrant. And let me just say, I can't love the country that led by Donald Trump and his psychopath Congress. Well, I could just listen to that all day.
There's just so many things in there
Oh
that
my
are
gosh.
simply not correct.
Well, the White House answered his little rant. Robert De Niro is a washed-up has-been who hasn't been relevant for 30 years. Now he's just beclowns himself by spewing hate speech, inciting violence against others. Instead of embarrassing himself every time he speaks, he should seek immediate treatment for a debilitating case of Trump derangement syndrome that has rotted his peanut-sized brain. That's an official White House.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons that so many people love Donald Trump is he's not the usual politician.
No. I mean, it just comes from his spokesman. It's as if Trump wrote it, though. I guess they're in tune with him.
Right. I would say so. That's what you
Peanut-sized
want.
brain. How hateful, and this, just to live in that guy's shoes has got to be the most miserable experience.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just odd to me how so many people, I mean, even though it's a relatively small fraction of the population in total, like I think probably less than 20%, that are just so obsessed with this love of misery, it appears.
Yeah.
Most people don't think that way, I don't believe.
Yeah. No, he does. Now, he got the comment, Trump derangement syndrome, I guess. He heard it. So he answered that.
Oh, okay.
He said, people don't like him for a reason. All the terrible things he's done. If he did nice things, then he had the chance to become president. To do nice things, not hateful retribution, not just outright mean things. If he did nice things, people would love him, but he's got a problem. He's damaged. That sounds like Trump derangement syndrome.
Again, it's just not.
What does he mean, nice
not
things?
Factual. I'd say about 2/3 of the country would say, hey, well, look at all the nice things he's done. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly. During his State of the Union speech, I mean, how many people did he bring up and take care of and stuff? I mean, remember that kid that had cancer and he gave him
yeah, and the Democrats wouldn't applaud for him.
No. And made him a Secret Service agent.
Yeah, I remember
that. He's doing nice things every day. Robert.
Well, and
more than Robert. I mean, how many nice things has Robert ever done?
Well, I'd put many of his major policy decisions are nice things. I think that a large majority of American people say, well, he's closed the border. That's wonderful. That's nice.
Yeah.
I think a large majority of people, we're exporting oil. We're the largest producer of oil in the world. And they say, wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
But the left is going to say, no.
He's gone after fraud and abuse.
Oh, yeah.
Saving tax dollars. That's nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He shut down 7 wars.
Yes.
That's kind of nice.
Correct.
And it looks like Ukraine is getting closer to having discussions.
That's what I see.
After 4 years, it looks like
I mean, it's still a terrible, terrible war.
Yeah.
But I think we talked a little bit at an earlier show about how it appears like Ukraine is maybe gaining a little edge.
It's doing better now.
Yeah. And I read an article that I thought was very fairly done. And it said, yeah, that's kind of what seems to be happening right now, that Ukraine may have an edge. But they said, we don't know how long it might last.
Don't know.
Because I think that's
technology changes.
A good way to look at it and how to use it and response from the other side. So it's still pretty much a stalemate, but right
now,
maybe now is the time to set up a deal.
They're hitting the infrastructure so hard.
They are.
They're blowing up the convoys of trucks going to Crimea, and they blew up the bridges going to Crimea. In fact, all of them have been damaged now and unusable, except for the Crimean bridge, which they don't use for shipments anymore. They're afraid.
Well, it's got lighter use because it's been damaged.
It's been damaged. But all the other bridges that come from mainland, all down. Every one of them.
And you have the infrastructure damage in Russia especially on their energy production. But by reducing the amount of export, they've been able to keep gasoline going inside Russia.
There's still pictures of fuel lines all over the place. They've rationed fuel.
Right. But I don't want to paint too bright a picture that Ukraine is like totally wiping out Russia.
No, but they've had effects, and nobody ever thought they would have any effect.
Well, they are, and I really think it's a stalemate with maybe a slight edge to Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
So when you have it where both sides think they're in danger of losing, that's when you can get a settlement.
Here's where Ukraine has found a way to really hurt Russia, and they have drones and things that can go deeper into Russia than ever thought, and they can't seem to stop it, and they're blowing up supply
refineries and supply chains.
Yeah, I mean, it's not on the front lines. I mean, they're doing well there, keeping it stalemated, but they're behind the lines, stopping resupplies.
That's what we see right now. Yeah,
and Russia hasn't got the answer yet.
No, and it's not like Russia is technologically incompetent.
No,
I think that they have some very smart engineers there, and they're doing positive things, but their whole structure is not as fluid and capable and responsive as I think Ukraine has been, because frankly, it's an old top-down structure mostly. So they are improving. There's no question. Russia has improved also, and they've had a lot of improvements, but Ukraine seems to have the edge at the moment technologically.
I think so, and not only technologically, that also their ability to manufacture.
Well, yeah,
so many of these drones every day, and they're not doing it at one location. They're doing it all over the country in garages. So it's not necessarily all compact into one big building.
Well, right, and that's part of where they managed to keep their edge, because they've got this distributed manufacturing that's hard to hit. And when I read about Russian strikes on Ukraine, they seem to hit a lot of like residential areas,
power plants.
I mean, it's not as focused, whereas the Iranian strikes into Russia are almost entirely on strategic infrastructure, like a petroleum, a refinery, a convoy, ammunition depots.
They blew up apparently 100 convoy trucks in one day, which was a record for them the other day.
Right.
And a lot of them they blew up while they were on the bridge. They blew the bridge.
Yeah.
They blew up an oil tanker on the bridge while it was a whole convoy.
Yeah.
And took the whole bridge down.
See, that shows that they are very strategic and tactical. And I just see more precision in their strikes than on the Russian side.
Right.
On the other hand, Russia probably has more ballistic missiles. It has more hypersonic missiles.
Yeah.
I don't know that Ukraine even has a hypersonic weapon, but so it's not all one-sided, but we sure would like to see an end. It
seems to be spooling up with Ukraine and spooling down with Russia.
I'd put it a little differently. I'd say Ukraine is spooling up and Russia is spooling up, but not as fast.
Really?
They can't. I mean, for one thing, Russia, what I've read is that they have not been able to replace the troops they have lost.
They can't replace the tanks. I mean, apparently a lot of the
old stuff,
because they're not building them fast enough.
Right.
The old stuff's kind of gone,
and it's not as effective as it used to be. But what I'm seeing is that Russia is kind of it's like just barely able to keep even, whereas Ukraine has been gaining some capabilities,
and they get more help.
So, but it's at the same time, Ukraine depends a lot on foreign assistance for munitions and money.
Well, and we've got manufacturers using them as a testing place.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is really nice. So
it's to look at the horrible casualties that go on in the Ukrainian Russian war. It's really bad. I think President Trump has the right idea that he wants to stop this war. And frankly, I think the Iranian war and what Trump did, or the conflict and what Trump has done with Iran, again, has reduced Russian influence and power. And they don't have...
They're not even going to the G7.
So Russia is not now able to import as much stuff from Iran as they did, or sell as much stuff from Iran. So that might actually help.
Their agreement was kind of killed when the United States attacked Iran as leaders and killed them. And they said, well, the deal's off because the person signed it's dead.
Yes,
which was kind of weird.
And China didn't offer much of any help to Iran either.
No, they
so
don't want to be.
All of that, I think, moves toward a way to stop the Ukrainian war.
Right. Might. Trump's at G7 right now. You know, he took off right after the fight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and flew out there. I mean, the guy never stops. He's 80, but he works hard.
The energy is just unreal.
Yeah. I don't know how you do that, but he did. Flew around the world and goes up and helps lead. And he's the biggest guy in the room.
Yeah.
When, you know, there's only 7 of them. Now, he was joined by Marco Rubio, and a U.S. delegation they joined leaders of France, United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, Italy, Japan, and European Union. And I'm kind of curious about that. They list European Union separate, but I don't think they're really. What are they really part of it? Because that would make the G8 if they were counted. Because there's the U.S., France, United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, Japan, Italy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then European Union. What?
Yeah,
what are they? Honorable mention or something?
Well, out of those 7, what are 4 European Union members? I mean, so I wouldn't count Russia.
Germany.
Russia's not part of the European Union. Japan's not part of the European Union.
Germany, France, and Italy are European Union.
Are those the only European countries in that?
Well, United Kingdom, but didn't they pull out of the European Union?
Yeah, they're not in the. They're not in the European Union anymore.
But then it's Canada and Japan and us.
Yeah, so it's really only 3 of the 7 are European Union.
So they kind of threw the European Union in there. I don't know what they do, but he's there now. A senior administration official said President Trump has effectively restored America's standing on the world stage, strengthened the relationship abroad, and the president looks forward to a productive G7 summit. And shares issues of importance next week. And of course, Trump's already been.
Now, you said Russia is not attending?
No.
I thought that. Yeah, okay.
No, I think they used to be when it was a G8, wasn't it? Was it Russia in there? I guess they've kicked them out.
I think, you're right. I believe that's correct.
Trump said on Truth Social, the deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran is now complete. Congratulations to all. I hereby fully authorize the toll-free opening of the Strait of Hormuz and simultaneously herewith authorize the immediate removal of the United States naval blockade. Ships of the world, start your engines.
Yeah, I read
let
that.
the oil flow.
Yeah. And on that announcement, oil prices have dropped.
Yeah, immediately. It's down to below 80 now. It's 80. $78.
That's a huge drop from over 100.
Now, European leaders backed the announcement. That had to hurt them because, they were against everything Trump does, but, including France, Germany, Italy, and the United Kingdom.
Opportunistic. I mean, it's like whichever way does it look like he's going to win? Maybe we should join.
So embarrassing for them.
Yeah, they don't look strong at all.
But the 4 of them, in a prepared statement, said, "We are prepared to lift relevant sanctions in response to clear, verifiable steps by Iran on its nuclear program." Big deal. Like, yeah, we're with you, Trump.
Now that
even though we hate you and we block you and we don't want to talk to you, we're with you because you're a winner.
Yeah, well, I think that's exactly what's going on there.
Last year, G7 in Canada, Trump walked out early. And they've asked him not to this time. This year is expected to join the bilateral meetings with the French President Emmanuel Macron, Emir of the state of Qatar, and I won't give the Sheikh's whole name, but the Prime Minister of India, United Arab Emirates President, and the Egyptian presidents, which are not part of the G7, but I guess it's going to join those bilateral meetings, and I think that's great. Senior administration officials told reporters, although Ukraine is expected to feature prominently in discussions, Trump has no formal meeting scheduled with Ukrainian President Zelensky, but will join him in working sessions. Trump will attend broader multilateral sessions on economic growth and working lunches with global tech CEOs and Middle East leaders. Trump's objective is to gauge whether the other leaders are willing to participate in efforts to clear mines, help restore normal shipping through the strait. And Trump and his allies face allies as tensions loom over his America First tariff policies, which are aimed at leveling the global trade playing field by holding other countries accountable for trade deficits. I think he's getting a lot of attention now. I mean, the gravitas now behind Trump.
Oh, yeah.
It's just amazing. He's also talking about U.S.-India trade deals that expands American exports and reduces barriers for U.S. business operating in India. And the summit comes weeks before the July 1st deadline for the first joint review of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, which replaces NAFTA, enters into force in 2020, which entered in force 2020. He's got so much on the plate. I mean, how do you do this? And of course, he attended the U.S. summit in Beijing last month, praised what he called fantastic trade deals, including agreements for China to buy Boeing planes and soybeans. Dependency on China will be focused. Of the group of 7 will be discussions expectations on Chinese supply chains, excess production capacity, and clean technologies. Leaders are closely watching China as a global race to develop and dominate artificial intelligence intensifies, with concerns over technological leadership, economic competitiveness, national security shaping the agenda. All executives from large tech companies such as OpenAI, Meta, Anthropic are expected to attend the G7 to discuss regulation and AI infrastructure. A serious meeting. I mean, those are big items.
They are.
AI being one that's most intriguing, I think, because we're working on it so much. You know, I've got a Republican meeting coming up. I'm first vice chair of the Republican Party, and Tanya called me yesterday. She's doing the scheduling and everything, and said, do you want to say anything? And I said, I do. I just want to talk about AI and ESA briefly, just a brief comments about AI. I think those are things we need to keep discussing is AI, because there's so much misinformation. We need to really do the research and find out about the lies. And the ESA, same way. And we got the budget. We talked to Senator Tim Dunn yesterday, called in about the budget being done and all that, and that ESA nothing bad happened to ESA, because as you know, the governor and the teachers union wants to kill ESA.
Yes, you've talked about that often.
And of course the teachers unions wants to kill it, as well as a whole organization called SOS, Save Our Schools, which is just designed for one thing: kill homeschools.
Right. And when they say save our schools, they're only talking about sort of traditional public schools.
Right.
And frankly, there are alternatives out there that work very well. And one of the things that they allow is more individualized attention to students that have particular problems or difficulties that can allow those students to thrive in a non-traditional setting.
Right. Right. And they hate it. And, you know, they couldn't get ESA killed, so they were trying to add to ESA a lot of regulation and forms and all that to make it as complicated as they could, to where people didn't want to use it.
Right.
They failed at that also. So far.
Yeah, that's good.
But don't forget, it's they're sharpening their pencils and doing all they can to try to destroy it.
Yeah, and we're so close. The legislature is so bare; it's barely a Republican majority,
right?
And so that means you've got to make a lot of compromises.
And one thing they would try to do, they would say, well, we're going to make it better by putting in these regulars, trying to kill it.
Yeah,
don't believe them.
Exactly correct.
They're trying to kill it. They don't like it. They want the teachers unions to own it all, and government schools to indoctrinate the kids.
Well, the teachers unions have become one of the primary sources of Democratic Party electoral power and money too.
It has, and they're not as powerful in Arizona like in California.
Right.
Schwarzenegger went up against California and lost miserably.
Yeah, it is a huge political power in California, and one of the few successes that states have had in mitigating the power of teachers union was in Wisconsin with Governor Scott Walker a few years ago. And they were able to remove some of the political power, like the requirement that schools had to buy in health insurance for teachers from the teachers union's health insurance plan.
Yeah.
And it was so expensive that when they removed that, even though the budget for the schools went down, teacher salaries were able to go up. A huge beneficial win in Wisconsin for Governor Walker at that time.
Spencer Pratt is now working with Karen Bass's brother.
Yeah.
To sue LA mayor over the Palisades fire. Oh, this is great. It just keeps giving. Pratt just keeps giving.
It is. And, the election there, have they finished the counting yet?
No.
Yeah. Wow.
And Pratt's just only down by a few percentage points, but he's already written it off. I mean, everybody's written him off because the con's on.
Yeah. I mean, no question. When he's getting almost a third of votes on election day, and then afterwards he gets
nothing,
less, like half of that.
Yeah. Oh, the cheat's on, it looks like, and that's what every report I read is saying that this thing from the president down is like, this is the machine that's creating votes.
Yes, that's what it appears to be, and they have testimony from homeless people saying, "Yeah, I was paid $2 for every vote I'd sign."
Yeah, and that's what they're investigating. You can't recheck the ballots because the ballots, I mean, in California, set up such a way there's no chain of custody. There's nothing to check.
Right.
You got a ballot in your hand. You don't know who did it. You don't know where it came from.
There's no serious signature checking.
There's none. So you just got a whole bunch of ballots. All you could do is recount them and say, "Yeah, Pratt lost," but you don't know where the ballots came from.
Right.
You don't know who the voters are.
You might know a district. I mean, one of the things that I've seen reported is that the districts where there's lots and lots of homeless are the ones where a lot of the anti or pro Karen, or I'm trying to think the lady who's upsetting
Nikki or something.
Whatever. Yeah. Anyway, the one who was third and is now second. Yeah. Those were very, very heavily went for her.
Oh, big time above Pratt. I mean, above Bass. I'm sorry, above Bass.
Right.
It's like they want to get rid of Bass.
And then we have these, people that are saying, "Yeah, I was paid to vote. I was paid to vote as many votes as I'd sign."
Yeah, but they're homeless. You can't trust them.
Well, I guess. I mean, that's correct. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I think that is it's an indication that our suspicions are probably correct.
But Kenneth Bass, who is the brother of Karen, he's suing Palisades also, and he said, and Spencer Pratt says, "I am proud to be teaming up with Karen Bass's brother and suing his sister for her reckless negligence that led to the destruction of our homes. I hope their Thanksgiving dinner isn't too awkward. I know ours hasn't been the same since last year." Kenneth and his wife Cindy claimed to suffer physical injuries, emotional distress, and as a result of the fire, which destroyed their Malibu home. Kenneth and a handful of new residents joined the initial Palisades fire litigation, which was filed against the city of Los Angeles days after flames ripped through the beachside community. Los Angeles Department of Water Power, the state of California, the California Department of Parks and Recreation, Southern California Edison also included as defendants. Representative the mayor said, "There's nothing new here. Mayor Bass has spoken to her brother's loss publicly since January." No, nothing new. Thousands of people are plaintiffs in this action, which names 18 public and private sector defendants. Why, this lawsuit's going to cost more than the damage.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, this is California. They're famous for making huge awards. So I don't know how it'll turn out.
And I think absolutely the state, city, and all of them are negligent.
Well, they horrible. I think so.
Letting the reservoirs run dry, letting the trucks not be out of repair, you name it. They just.
I don't know if it's it's California. It's hard to know.
Now, you would think now that the election's over for Pratt, that all the commercials, everything would stop. No, it goes on.
Oh, interesting.
He wrote on Instagram, "I'm moving on to the next more interesting phase. Listen, I spent a lot of time slaying everybody. I've ridiculed everyone on the roster. You think you'd get rid of me that easily? I know a lot of dim-wit jerks thought I was in this for a grift. But I was going to roll up and leave town if I didn't get into City Hall. Hey, morons, I didn't get in this for political power. I got in to expose this corrupt machine, and nothing's changed."
Woo. Wow.
And it got worse. I mean, he's doing commercials now and stuff that just flat take.
Well, my understanding is that it was independents who were doing the commercials. He wasn't paying them. He wasn't directing them.
Some of them is correct. He did some. and some of them are being done for him. You're correct. He's got a lot, and it's
so I could see that those independents are just hey, this is fun. Look at what we did.
Oh, they're doing great. But now he did say at one time, Spencer said he's done living in LA. He won't rebuild if he doesn't win. Now he's saying something different. He said, "No, I'm staying now."
Well, actually, I'd like him to stay because I think he's effective.
Right, and that's the problem we've had in California. All the Republicans left.
Well, it's a huge problem for California.
And what they left was the homeless and the radical Dems, and that's
right.
it. Illegals.
Well, they have the big tech companies that pay a lot of taxes.
But they're still leaving.
Sure, because they got this billionaire tax insanity.
Yeah, but they're not a growing commodity. I mean, they're shrinking.
Yes.
And you don't want your businesses to do less every year. You want them to do more.
Are the businesses doing less, or are there less businesses?
I think it's less business. I don't know.
If that's what I would think.
But I mean, the receipts from that sector.
Yeah,
is
those
less.
Those taxes have got to be going down as people leave. I mean, Elon Musk is an excellent example where he took the headquarters and moved them from California to Texas.
Yeah.
Now there's still Elon Musk. There's a big Tesla car manufacturing plant in California still.
Yes,
but I think almost all the SpaceX stuff has been moved to Texas.
No, I can't, because there's some still launches going off there.
Oh, in Vandenberg?
Vandenberg.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's some government launches going off. So they're still doing some stuff.
That's correct.
But I think they've moved headquarters out. They've moved a lot of stuff.
Well, and he's building these huge factories to produce like the Starship in Texas is what I see.
Oh yeah, more and more. So all the new stuff's outside California, and that's just it. What you got is as much as you're going to have now.
Right.
We're not going to build anymore.
Well, and I think there seemed to me that they were changing over one of the old Texas Tesla automobile manufacturing plants in California. They're changing it over to Optimus robot production.
Are they?
Yeah, that's what I call reading. Now, I can be mistaken.
Can you teach the Optimus to vote?
That's oh man, don't go there. I don't think we want to go there. Oh wow.
Yeah,
I don't think it'd be very hard to teach them to vote, but what officials would accept
I absolutely
if it's a mail-in ballot, all you have to have a ballot sent.
I need to get a hold of Elon Musk and ask him to train an Optimus to walk into the registrar's office, ask for a voting card, and see if they let him vote, see if they let him register.
Well, the easy way to do that would be to ask them to get a driver's license.
Okay.
See, because you get automatic registration in California. You have a driver's license, I think.
But yeah, see if an Optimus.
You just have to have an address to send it to. You could make the Optimus plant or whatever the address.
The machine that's running California is so not wanting to discriminate against anything. May just let the Optimus register to vote.
Maybe.
You never know. I think they should send them in. Send that Optimus in.
That's an interesting thing.
Say, I'm here to register to vote. I live in a closet.
Well, this this manufacturing plant. We're enslaved there. We're not even wage slaves. They pay us nothing but electricity.
Yeah. I'd like to see what happens. There needs to be a camera on them.
Yeah, of course.
To see how they respond. I don't know what they'll do.
I don't know.
They'd have to get the supervisor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get my supervisor. Stay right here.
See, that's why I said if they just apply for a driver's license,
You think they'd get that?
Maybe. I don't know how hard it is in California.
Poor Jim Acosta is being ruthlessly mocked, according to this headline. Jim Acosta, one of the biggest anti-Trump media figures. He was CNN's chief domestic correspondent and anchored the CNN newsroom from 21 to 25. And, he wasn't fired. He was going to have to take the late night, and he just quit. It was just too embarrassing.
Oh, well.
Now he's got he's trying to get back at Trump right now. People hate him. And even at that thing the other day when De Niro did that whole show with all the other people that hate Trump. Let's see, what was the name of that? Rise Up, Sing Out.
Okay.
They claim that people like Jim Acosta, Joey Reid lost their jobs because Trump insisted on it. Trump's fault. Nothing that I'm a bad reporter and my numbers are down. It was Trump.
Yeah,
that
not that they were losing money hand over fist.
I know. Let's take Carl. Good morning, Carl.
Hey, good morning. How we doing?
Doing well, sir.
Well, thanks to Daniel Pateris, we got all of his signs up now. So,
man, it's been hot out there. I hope you took it easy.
Well, we did it. We started early.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yep. Before that sun comes up would be best.
Yeah, we put up anywhere between 25 and 30 signs in about 4 hours. So
that's pretty good try. That's pretty good.
That's the 3 people doing it.
Yeah.
But my 2 cents for the day is if we would just have 30 days to be able to walk in the recorder's office and vote, and no mail-in ballots unless, there are positions, how much of the corruption would we stop?
Oh, that would be a lot.
I think you're right. I mean, mail-in ballots are one of the least secure methods of voting.
Yep.
Well, that's where all the cheating is, isn't it?
A lot of it, maybe most of it, maybe a large majority of it. I don't know because it's hard to measure.
Okay. My ballot is, and my signature is like on a check. You got to have check when you take and go put money in the bank or something and draw money out. You got to show your ID or something. So something that runs our country is we need to have verification of who is voting, and that's what it has to be. You cannot just be collecting a lot of ballots and filling them out and then just throwing them in the box.
Well, that's the way it works in California.
Well, look how screwed up California is.
Exactly.
So I just wish President Trump would do something about our voting, because the voting has to be the most sacred thing we have, and we should try and stop the cheating as much as possible.
Yeah, there's people that see it differently, unfortunately.
I have seen a initiative by President Trump to get the SAVE Act passed through the Congress again, and they're tying it to some appropriations, I think. Another act that they want to get passed. So it isn't dead. I think there's a good chance he may get it passed.
Well, that's the only thing that's going to save us, is if we can start having a legal election and not so much damn fraud in it.
Yeah. And Trump is putting it, I mean, he still puts it out there like it's going to happen. I don't know, because
he's pulled off amazing things.
Yeah, he has. But to get through some of those, I mean, it's Susan Collins and the Murkowskis.
Well, Collins came out in favor of it about a couple weeks ago.
I heard that. And of course, you got the turtle is in the hospital right now.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I heard that.
It doesn't look good. In fact, I mean, he's been looking bad for a long time.
Yes, yes, it's true. I mean, but he's how old is he? He's in his 80s, I'm sure.
I don't know.
And McConnell we're talking about.
Mitch McConnell. Yeah. But Edward mentioned something to me the other day, but on there that, well, this looks bad because in Kentucky it's a Democrat governor and they may replace him. I said, no. In that state, and I had looked it up previously, in that state, they passed a law that it has to go to special election.
Yeah. Okay. I remember something about that.
In Arizona, it would be the governor that appoints, but I think they have to do it according to the party line that they were.
I believe that is something that is correct in Arizona.
It's probably going to be different by every state, though. Every state,
right? The states rule on that.
Yeah.
Well, what we're doing is the Democrats go by Sal Alinsky's rules for radicals, and the Republicans go by the Constitution. And so everybody needs to go by the Constitution. So
yeah.
Have a good day, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
I think Carl is correct about that, and I'd like to just say that I think it's because Republicans have had their feet held to the fire by the old media, whereas Democrats have not.
Well, I think they hold it true, and I think they hold themselves to the fire too.
Well, I think that happens, but some of it is simply because they're under more scrutiny.
Fellow Republicans will say you can't do that. Democrats, I don't care. Get away with it. Get away with it.
Well, when you're morality says we will do whatever it takes to get power.
Right.
That's not much morality.
I was talking about Jim Acosta. Jim Acosta's biggest thing right now was taking Trump's name off the Kennedy Center. Now, remember, they put Trump's name on the Kennedy Center, and then a judge said you have to take it off. You can't do that. You can't change the name of it. So Jim Acosta camped out for 11 hours. He did a live stream.
11 hours.
11 hours in front of the Kennedy Center to catch them taking it off. And he just rambled. He said he was on the Jim Acosta show on YouTube. He mostly featured live shots of scaffolding that obstructed by a tarp behind which workers were toiled to remove Trump's name from the building. And and Acosta says, this is very much like watching the Berlin Wall coming down.
I'll take it. It will get Trump's name removed from the Kennedy Center, and we win the Iranian war.
I'll take it.
I'll
take it.
Well, this is a trade-off I can accept.
Jim says it's a sign that mankind, that humankind, can stand up against tyranny. As long as it took, we pledged to continue to have this coverage going, and by golly, we did, because we knew how much this meant to a lot of people out there, and know how important it was. He actually quit the performance because it looked like they weren't going to take the sign down that day. So he did it. He after about 10 hours and 18 minutes, he said, I'm going to go to bed, and he let his producer stay to keep an eye on it.
And the next 40 minutes.
And the producer said, it looks like there's potentially touching letters. I can't say whether or not they're removing them, but it looks like there might be in progress. So he said, oh, yes, it appears they're moving the letters. I don't know if you guys can see it, but they are loosening the letters. The letters coming down officially. So this means I'm probably going to have to give Jim Acosta a call. And he's going to be very happy because he'll be woken up. And Jim Acosta rushed to the scene. He said, I had just gotten home, and I thought this might take place later in the morning. And it was 3:30 in the morning when they did it, which is kind of cool. and of course, they did this in the dead of night. They did this at 3 a.m. And to make it the icing on the cake, the chef's kiss of all this for Donald Trump is that they had to put up a giant white tarp to shield Trump and his feelings from humiliation of seeing this all come down in front of the cameras. Yeah, I'm sure Trump stayed awake at night.
Well, Trump never sleeps. Or he doesn't sleep very much. I doubt this was anywhere near the forefront of his thought.
But he put a 11-hour thing on the name coming down like it was the biggest deal in the world. So he got mocked by a lot of people. Matt Whitlock, conservative commentator, said, this is wild. I can't imagine having so little going on in my life. I would sit outside a building all day waiting for the name to be removed from it.
Yeah.
Well, Jim Acosta is making an aggressive play to take decades of communist oppression via a sign on a building. Similarities are striking, because he's talking about the Berlin Wall coming down, give that man a Pulitzer. What a dip. Well, I can't say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess he's a shadow of, he used to be a big commentator on a nightly news and all that. Now 11 hours doing a podcast begging for a sign to come down.
Well, it got national news. I mean, there's so
yeah,
you give
but
him a little
again,
credit.
If you believe all news is good news, I think it's embarrassing. Not for Trump.
No, I don't think it's embarrassing for Trump. I think people who have Trump derangement syndrome think it's embarrassing for Trump. They think it's a huge ego blow to him. I don't think he really cares that much about it. Some of this, I suspect, Trump probably laughing all the way. Look at these idiots focusing on this name change.
It looks like Thune put out yesterday, John Thune, the Senate, that it's going to put the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act through without putting the
Save
stuff,
Act with it.
Yeah, with what Trump wants.
Huh.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, Trump's going to keep asking for it.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, it makes good sense by any political measure when you have 80% of the country want something and you say, yes, that's what we're pushing for. And then you have recalcitrant politicians in both, in particularly in the Senate saying, we're not going to do what 80% of the people want.
Yeah.
It's really poor politics on their part, but they seem to be willing to do that. And it's not going to last. I think there's a good chance of the Republicans holding the House and the Senate in the midterms. I don't think it's certain by any means.
No.
But there's a good chance. If people get out and vote,
I think there's a good chance of Senate, and it's a possibility of the House. I don't know. It depends. With Iran,
we got 4 months to go.
With
4.5 months.
With Iran winding down, oil coming down,
right?
And something's going to happen with the G7. Some of the European countries are going to jump in and help. It's looking more positive. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries is going to have to work really hard to keep putting a negative on it.
Right. But I mean, it is, it's the old saying about if Trump walked on water, the headline would be Trump can't swim.
Absolutely right.
It's just silly how far this is and how deranged it is.
Right.
I mean, it's just bizarre that they claim that Trump is instituting tyranny when it was way worse under Biden.
And they do call it tyranny. It's just kind of hilarious.
When Trump is paying more attention and following the Constitution more closely than many presidents in my lifetime.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to talk about health for a minute because I try to stay healthy because I'm not young anymore. There's a newly identified muscle protein. Can you imagine there's new proteins? I know.
That's odd.
Yeah. That's what they listed as. And it can explain why people who stay active as they age often remain stronger and healthier for longer.
Is this a genetic thing?
No. It's a protein called NOx4. I don't know who came up with that name.
Protein? But that doesn't sound like a protein.
It doesn't, does it?
No,
but that's what they're calling it. It says it naturally declines with age and inactivity. Correct. I mean,
well, that's certainly
a lot of things do when you get old.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
It says at levels drop, researchers observe signs of frailty, muscle loss, insulin resistance, liver disease in mice. It sounds about right, as you do. That's not new. It said researchers show that the NOx4 helps muscles repair themselves and adapt to the physical demand of exercise. And when they removed it from mice, they took that protein out.
How do they take it out?
I don't know.
Maybe take it out of diet. I mean, can see that.
This article doesn't give a lot of details, and it doesn't really tell how to fix it. Not much.
My skepticism meter is going higher and higher.
Well, the NOx4, the name has been around long. I mean, I did a little research and it's been out there. But I don't. You can't buy a supplement of it. From my knowledge, from what I could see. I said, well, let me buy some. Yeah, it's not available. They lost mass, developed health problems associated with aging health problems, type aging. Also found that exercise helps restore the NOx4.
Well, that would be plausible because exercise is known to help people
with
maintain
everything.
Capability.
I did a story the other day that 2 hours a week for old people is a 47% reduction of the ability to get Alzheimer's or neurological diseases. I don't doubt that. If you stay active, healthy, and it's strength training plus cardio. A couple hours a month or a week, a couple hours a week. Josephine Hunt, an educational leader, former group fitness instructor. She said, movement is medicine. I like that. And the emerging NOx4 research is exciting because it helps explain something exercise scientists observed for decades. Physical activity does far more than strengthen muscles. Improves appearance or fitness, but its effects go much deeper. Exercise appears to activate biological signaling pathways. It helps the body adapt, repair, become more resilient over time. And that's even for us old people.
Oh, yeah.
We need to get off the couch.
This findings that exercise helps you stay healthy longer have been around for a long time.
It has.
I think at least 30 years, if not longer.
But now they're discovering things that say, oh, my God, it's true.
We've had studies showing it for a long time.
But I guess they're looking for details as to why.
Right.
And this NOx4, they wrap it up saying we need additional studies, we need more understanding, because people want to take a pill.
Oh yeah, and I think it may happen at some point.
Yeah,
that you will have an exercise pill.
Maybe
you take this pill once a day or once a week, and it duplicates what happens when you exercise.
Right. Because when you exercise, specific things happen, like
Right,
the
there are
production of
there are
certain
chemical things
chemicals and
that
stuff.
happen.
Yeah.
It seems possible that you could duplicate that with a pill.
Yeah. The problem with it is, if you do a pill that produces a known protein, you can't really patent it.
People are clever.
They're trying. Well,
there may be a way.
That NMN I take is and it's been out for 3-4 years as a nutrient. And United States government has done all they can to take it off the market because it's so effective. And somebody's trying to patent it, and they haven't been able to, because it's a vitamin B complex type stuff that's
I would have to see considerable evidence that the government is trying to take it off the market because it's effective.
Well, they've already been effective in taking it off the market. And taking it off Amazon has stopped selling it. A lot of people stopped selling it because they say, the FDA has come out and said that it's going to be a drug.
Okay.
And so people have backed off, and I have to get mine out of England.
Oh.
But that's just from them scaring people.
Yeah, and so I mean, there's I guess, and it may be, I would say that it may be a pharmaceutical company that's
Noel, the guy that discovered it, David Sinclair, and he's a researcher at Harvard, and he's the one that helped write the genome, and he's discovered this grouping of B vitamins, which they call NMN. It does amazing things for rats, and then they moved it to a lot of testing, and it builds mitochondria health and all that. And it was out on the market, everybody's selling it, and then he says, he puts forth that he wants to make it a drug instead of and that's when the FDA said, okay, you can't sell it anymore.
Well, the FDA regulates drugs, so
right, but since it's a naturally occurring nutrient.
There are nutrients, all kinds of nutrients out there that they don't regulate.
Right. So, but they tried to scare people because they're going to make it a drug, but they haven't done it in 4 years. It's still stalled.
Well, it takes a very long time to get anything approved by the FDA.
Well, they have a hard time approving something that's already on the market as a nutrient. That's why they tried to get it off the market as a nutrient.
Yeah, part of it is that the testing that's required by the FDA is incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars.
I don't know where it stands, but all over the world you can buy NMN, and you can buy it in the United States too. I don't think you're going to get it on the shelf at Walmart. You're not going to get it on Amazon, but you have to get it from companies that can ship it to you.
Well, that's one of the things about the internet. It makes it hard to stop something.
Yeah. Well, there has been a case where the company I buy it from, which is called Do Not Age, they had a shipment confiscated in Kentucky with NMN in it, saying, well, this product isn't allowed. I don't know what ever become of it. I don't know. I mean, it was a case that there was one
Seems
shipment.
odd.
It does. Well, marijuana was being shipped in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
A lot, or marijuana seeds so you could grow your own. And the companies, and I had a friend in Colorado that did that. They had it shipped in. And what you do is you buy socks, and then it's stuffed into the socks.
Yeah, okay.
And they don't guarantee you can buy insurance.
They don't guarantee it'll reach you.
It'll reach you. And you can buy insurance. Like, it costs you $200, but for an extra 100, you have insurance. And if it's confiscated, we'll send you another one.
Yeah.
His got it confiscated.
Okay.
So he had to order it again, and he got his seeds the second time and grew his own marijuana plants.
Well, it's really hard to prevent something that you can grow.
Yeah.
Well, and it doesn't take a big industrial base to grow plants.
And you don't want to grow it in the front yard.
I'd recommend you don't do that.
You don't do that. He grew it in the house. But in the United States, everything's so in flux with marijuana.
It's and there's
legal to grow. It's in some places
there's
statewide.
A big case in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has already heard the case. It's called Hamani, and it involves the Second Amendment and marijuana. And the case is whether you can be denied your Second Amendment rights if you admit to using a controlled substance,
Right.
in this case, marijuana.
I've heard of that.
And we don't know how it's going to go. The oral arguments were not at all conclusive. There were some of the more left-wing judges on the justices on the court seemed sympathetic to the plaintiff. And so we don't know how it's going to come out. It's not hard to believe that they will say, well, because the history is this, that when the Second Amendment was ratified, there were no laws that said, if you use a particular substance, you can't own a gun.
Right.
And some of the founding fathers are said to have grown marijuana because it was used very heavily for cordage.
Right. Hemp.
Right. And there's some people have claimed there's evidence that smoking marijuana was understood at the time. I don't know how good that evidence is.
Of course, what marijuana is now is nothing like it was.
Oh yeah, it's become far more potent.
Yeah, they've manipulated it, and it's hugely, like 50 times, 100 times. I don't know, something else.
And
the
so
THC levels.
Correct. But that case. Today is the 16th of June.
16th.
So that case should be published before the end of the month. Supreme Court cases on a particular term are almost always published before the end of June.
Yeah.
And so we only have 2 weeks before the end of June, and that case will be one of those. I think usually on a Thursday, that might be the 26th. I'd have to look at a calendar to be sure. And they hold, it's a sort of a tradition at the Supreme Court that they hold controversial cases to the last.
Yeah.
Those are published at the very last. So in a couple of weeks, we should know what happens with the Himani case. And there's another Second Amendment case up there too. Wolford out of Hawaii. And that's about where the Hawaii government just created so many sensitive places that you couldn't carry a gun around. I mean, it was essentially they made it impossible to carry a firearm in public because in order to do so, you would not be allowed to all these various places that they called sensitive. And one of the things they did was to say you can't carry onto any private property other than your own unless that person gives you explicit permission first. And so all the places that you normally go as private property, like a gas station or a convenience store or just ordinary stores where you don't need special permission to enter them, the Hawaii government said, but you need special permission to enter them if you carry a firearm, if you're exercising your Second Amendment rights. So it's believed that the Supreme Court will knock down that person. It's called the vampire rule because, the idea is in vampire lore, a vampire can't enter your home unless you give him permission.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they call it the vampire law. I expect that to be struck down, but we don't know how far the decision might go. And they might do things like explaining how you use the standard setup with the case out of New York that set up how you Bruin, it's called, how you apply the Second Amendment to law if you're a judge, what you're supposed to do. And basically they said, well, the Second Amendment existed, the right to keep and bear arms existed before the Bill of Rights was ratified in 1791. So we have to look at what the Second Amendment meant in 1791 to figure out what it means today, because it means the same thing. And so if it was common in the law to say stealing a gun from somebody is not a Second Amendment right in 1791, then it's not a Second Amendment right today. So you look at the literature and you look at the law and you say, what did it mean in 1791? And so there were no laws in 1791 that said if you drank alcohol you're not allowed to own a gun. There were laws that said if you get drunk and you misuse a gun, then that gun can be taken from you.
And that all makes perfect sense to me. But I think what the left does with this living document thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, they just want to.
Well, had they known that at the time, they would have.
Right.
Or something. So,
I mean, it's just a way to get around the Constitution to give the government more power.
Right. Versus going the hard way of actually making Congress do their job.
Correct. But Congress is restricted by the Constitution. There are certain things they're not allowed to do. And infringing on your Second Amendment rights is one of those things they're not allowed to do. But to determine what's an infringement, you have to look at what it meant when it was ratified.
They could push new amendments if it's a big
deal.
They could.
Yes. And some people who don't like the idea of the public having arms have stated that. Well, we need to repeal the Second Amendment.
So we could be like every other communist country out there.
And I just it hasn't been published yet. It'll probably be published on the 1st of July. But I just finished an article about what's happening in Europe with concealed carry permits.
What happens?
Well, for many years, it was almost impossible anywhere in Europe to get a concealed carry permit. And I'll start by saying that before World War I, they didn't have permits. It was generally commonly done. People carried concealed weapons all over before World War I. There was no gun control in England. There was virtually none in Germany or France or most places in Europe.
All right.
But then after World War I, you started getting significant gun control being passed. It passed 1919 in Germany. They'd been defeated, and what with the Treaty of Versailles, they weren't allowed to have guns, and they passed gun control. And then they did it in France about 1936 to 38. I think there maybe was the legislation was in process. That's why I'm giving the 2 years between which it happened.
Okay.
It happened in Italy in 1931, and in England it was 1921, I recall, where they passed these various gun control laws. And then between World War I and II, some of those dates are between, it happened as well. And then after World War II, we had severe restrictions on all the Eastern European countries because they were under the heel of the Soviet Union. But now, after the Berlin Wall came down, we have countries that have started with, there are several countries, there's 6 of them that have shall issue concealed carry permits.
Oh, really?
It means if you apply and you meet the requirements, and they aren't much different than here in the U.S.
Which countries?
They are the 3 Baltic countries, Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia.
Wow.
And then there's the Czech Republic.
And those are pretty small countries.
Yeah, they are. And then there's Slovakia, which used, the Czech Republic and Slovakia, the 2 of them used to be Czechoslovakia. Yeah. and then this one surprised me, Georgia.
That's still under Russia's.
It's kind of, but they have changed their law to have a shall issue concealed carry law in Georgia now.
Now that one does surprise me.
It surprised me greatly, and I tried to find a translation of the details of it. Exactly what do they mean? What is required? And the requirements vary. There's usually a test. There's often you have to go before a doctor and say that you're physically capable. There's there's written test. There's a psychological examination. All these things are sort of common, but in the countries I just mentioned, those 6, the number of adults who have concealed carry permits varies between 2 and 4% of the population. That's a significant number.
Oh, it is?
Oh, yes.
I was thinking, wow, that's pretty small.
Well, in California, the number is 0.4%.
Oh, it is?
In Hawaii, it's like 0.015%. In New Jersey, it's like 0.2% or something.
So I'm just assuming everybody has a gun.
Well, owning a gun is probably higher percentages. These are permits to carry concealed.
Okay.
And so we have, and those are the shall issue. Then there's about 9 countries that have sort of a permissive may issue.
Okay.
And that means that,
of course,
that there's discretion on the part of the government to decide if you get one or not, but usually they give them out.
Oh, I was going to say, we've had that in the United States, and some states did, some states didn't.
Yeah, exactly. And in a couple of those countries, which are in the Balkans, in fact, there's about 4 of those that are in the Balkans, Bosnia and Herzegovina, that's one, Moldavia, Serbia, I'm thinking Montenegro. Those are 4 countries in the Balkans that have that. And in 2 of those, Bosnia and Herzegovina, the articles I was reading claimed that 30% of the population had permits to own, and 2/3 of those included permit to carry.
How much effect do you think the Ukrainian-Russia wars had on that?
Well, I'm getting to there. Moldavia, by the way, they're saying 13% of the population has carry permits.
More than 1 in 10.
Which is
crazy.
It's well, that's about 1 in 8, but yeah, it is a very high percentage, even in the U.S. So there's partly some local regulations going there. So I'm not 100% sure if those numbers are really accurate, but those are what I found to be reported. Then there's 2 countries that are what was reported to be effectively shall issue. That is that they give a permit to just about everybody who applies.
Okay.
And supposedly those are Ukraine.
Now, they didn't used to.
No, they didn't.
That's new.
I'll get there.
And Zelensky, when the war first started, they didn't have it.
No,
and
but
he talked
they
about
handed out a fair number of weapons.
Okay.
And then the other one is it's Bulgaria.
Okay.
And I thought, wow, that's not real common. But apparently they are so close to shall issue that they're described as effectively shall issue. And I have an article that was published about Ukraine specifically. And before the war, they basically didn't have any written down law about how citizens could own weapons or not. I mean, essentially it was the Minister of the Interior, and I'm paraphrasing a bit from memory, so I could be a little off, he could issue a permit to somebody to own weapons if he wanted to. So what that mainly meant was that party members who had pull might get a permission. But because of the war, the idea of having shall issue carry permits in Ukraine has become popular, and 59% of the citizens think they should have it now.
And that's the war.
That's partly the war. And then we had a mass murder in Kiev, that happened in April, and the guy killed 6 people before the police came in and killed him. But at the start of that, there were 2 police officers at the scene, and they ran away.
Oh gosh!
And the Interior Minister says people should be able to defend themselves, and that's now part of the push to get a shall issue carry bill in Ukraine. And that Interior Minister has now convened a working group to put together ideas about how to do it and make the rules clear, which they have not been before, and to submit those ideas to Parliament.
You need to send that article to all the Democrats in Congress, because they're wearing all those Ukraine buttons. I bet they take them all off.
That's an interesting thought. Like the Ukraine article, and it's fairly detailed, is at AMOLAND right now, so people can issue it there. And the one about the carry in Europe, which actually I got the idea for it when I was researching the Ukrainian article, and that's going to be published on July 1st, I'm told, at the Gun Mag, which is published by Second Amendment Foundation.
That's because I knew early on when the Russians took over Crimea and all that, they didn't have anything. And then, but then even afterward, they started the war again. They pushed to get Ukraine. They didn't have very many people with guns. They couldn't defend themselves.
Right.
Same thing happened in Israel on October 7th. Nobody could defend themselves.
Well, there were a few people who did, and they were it didn't take much. I mean, just having a pistol made a huge difference. Yeah. And there were a lot of people successfully defended themselves, but it was a tiny percentage of the ones who, compared to the ones who were killed outright. Right. And that led to some reform of the Israeli government issuing permits.
Oh,
for people.
they've started to.
They have some, but it's nowhere near what we have with the Second Amendment in the United States.
Yeah.
But I think the number of permits has about doubled, but it was very small to start with in Israel.
I think we're running out of time, my friend.
It's been a great show.
We'll start tomorrow. How about that?
Very good.
Mortgage One Studio, Russ Clark will be back tomorrow.